Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. It is Football Friday, and make no mistake about it, it is the Philly bad guy. It is the Philly bad guy. In honor of Christmas, you're a mean one. Big Sills, you make people mad. Xander comes on my show and tells me I have a shitty show. Mr. Grant, happy holidays to all and a good Friday football. How you doing? Big Sills in the 4 hours powered by our great friends at BetUS. And we start the program off with Big Sills. You know, there's just something about being an aggravator, a guy who infuriates people. Yes. I don't know what has happened here. By the way, I forgot to tell everybody, Monday was my 900th episode with you freaks. And here on JAKIB, but I can't thank you guys enough. 900 episodes, and that happened on Monday, and I saw it. I was like, holy shit, man, we've been doing this for 900 shows, which is insane. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger each and every single time. Thank you so much, man. Please hit the like button. Boom, boom, boom. You're an aggravator, Sills. I know. You'll be talking in like pseudo, like I'm a weirdo. Then again, I know I am. And it is a Football Friday, as I said. Super Chats go to the top. We will give you our predictions. We will give you our predictions for Sunday when it comes to Redskins and Eagles. NFC East. Oh, by the way, dude, that's awesome, man. Happy holidays to you too, Flexin. JAKIB is king. By the way, Akbar, take a knee. Take a knee. The Philly bad guys here. How you doing? By the way, hey, Howard Eskin, now maybe you can come on the program now, my friend. I see IP blew you out. Isn't it funny? That Philly sports thing, which is doing shitty with Anthony, now are firing people, and now they just blew out Howard Eskin. How come cross-dressing broad doesn't throw out any kind of jibes about those people losing employees? Shit, we go, psst. They go, oh, these guys are in court. Hey, how come crossing broad doesn't do any of that? Holy cow. I would welcome Howard Eskin on. Are you kidding me? We got Angelo on it as a pseudo guest. You're a mean one. Hey, man, we'd all fit in. Howard Eskin, Angelo, Big Sills. How you doing? That's right. By the way, let me start this off. Okay, I've got to go after the fascists known as the NFL, the National Fascist League. So wait a minute here. You guys are giving shit to Jalen Hurts over his fashion because you can't profit off it because he wears two different shoes. Do you know you get fined if you don't have your shirt tucked in? It used to be if you didn't have your socks up all the way, they would fine you $50. No shit. I mean, they would fine you $50 if your socks weren't up. We used to wear something called a bib. I'm not kidding. It was connected to your jersey. It went between your legs, and it kept your shirt tucked in. I'm not kidding. If your shirt was not tucked in, the league would fine you $50. Socks down, too. So Hurts wears two different shoes, and he's doing it for a charity, and they fine him. Hey, that's right. You got to remember something about the NFL. You know that hometown hero thing? They charge the Pentagon for that. They charge the Pentagon. What, do you think they do that shit for free? You know that pink stuff for cancer for women? You think they do that for free? The NFL takes 75% of the money earned, and then they give the rest to the charity. The NFL does nothing out of the kindness of their heart. Nothing out of the kindness of their heart. Khalid, thank you, brother. It isn't no fun league. Jalen Hurts is doing something cool, and you take a shit on him for it because you can't make money off it. Just shows you what the league's all about, dude. The league don't do things because, hey, man, you know what? We're opening our hearts to the community. And you know what Joe Krauss does with Krause's coats and all that? They would never do that. They would never do shit like that. Ever in a million years would they bend over and make that a part of their life and mean it. They do things for profit. Everything is profit with the league. Honest to God, they send the NFL. You know those like the military hometown heroes? Every team has to pay every team, okay, that does that. The Pentagon pays the Chargers, the Eagles, the Giants. They pay to do that. Not doing that for free. Hey, yeah, let's just do anything and give it for free and you guys profit and keep all the money. That's not how that works. Okay? That's not how that works, man. League. Kindness of their heart? Come on now, bro. That don't work here. By the way, I want to show you something here. Let's get into it here. Hey, guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate everybody coming aboard. Our boy Xander will join us at 3:30. Jason Cole, NFL Hall of Fame voter from Yahoo Sports, will join us at 4:30. And the legendary Godfather will join us at 5:30, one of my favorite segments, because now that we're in to championship months, and by the way, college football too, the playoffs are starting today. I believe it's Indiana, Notre Dame. And then on Saturday, all the playoff games in college football, the college football tournament really starts today. Battle of Indiana. Who would have thought? Get this. You ready for this one, Xander? Who would have thought that Alabama doesn't have one team in the college playoff, but Indiana has two? I get Notre Dame, but Indiana? But hey, you want to go even further? The state of Florida doesn't have one. So wait, the state of Alabama and the state of Florida doesn't have a team in the college playoff national championship. Okay, I guess. I mean, two of the greatest on the planet. Two of the greatest places on the planet, right? On the planet for football and college football. All right? I mean, don't have college football teams or a college football team in the playoffs. Oh, good. Hey, I want to show you something, what happened last night. Chargers down 11 points. I'm going to show you what great coaching does for you. You ready? Okay. So last night, Los Angeles was down by 11 points. Here's the difference between Brandon Staley and John Harbaugh. They rallied back, and the Chargers win. One of the weirdest kicks I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know that free kick stuff hasn't happened in almost 50 years. But they end up making it with Dicker the kicker. He ends up getting it through the uprights, and now both teams are 9-5 on the season. And you got to give it to Jim Harbaugh. What a turnaround that he has made with that Charger team. What's the one thing that he's done that resembles what in Philadelphia? What's the one thing, in your opinion, that they've done that resembles what they've done in Philadelphia? Do you know what that is? It's very evident. What's the one thing? Okay? They've taken the ball out of Herbert's hand a little bit and not as much. I want to show you something here. First year, 4,300 yards passing. Next year, over 5,000 passing yards. This year, or year 3, 4,500 yards passing. Last year, he got hurt, I believe, and only played in 13 ball games, so he was around 3,500. year, he's probably going to be right at that 4,000-yard mark. They've taken the ball a little bit out of his hands and tried to create more balance for him. They're playing good defense, and they're running the football. Okay? That's what they're doing. Somebody goes, isn't Herbert always hurt? Hey, dude, your guy's always hurt too. Every year he's been a starting quarterback, he's been hurt. But that's not uncommon in today's NFL. Quarterbacks get hurt. Players are hurt. A.J. Brown's hurt. Isn't Herbert always hurt? No, he's had 1 year where he missed a couple games. Jalen missed a couple games in 2022. Mahomes is hurt. The second year in a row, Mahomes has been hurt. By the way, I'm going to say one more time, man, that goddamn Derwin James, man, is one of my favorite football players. And I'll tell you this, that guy gets after people. That guy gets after people, man. He is a whale of a football player. He's a whale of a player, man. And right now, the Chargers are keeping people off the scoreboard. My point was, watching the game last night, you saw a little bit what great coaching does. Hey, man, it's not about throwing the ball 50 billion times, having Kirk Cousins' numbers. It's about having balance. It's about having balance. By the way, I'll tell you this. I'm looking forward to this game on Sunday. I am. This is going to be a pretty damn good competitive football game, I believe, between the Commanders and the Eagles on Sunday. Division opponent. I disagree with John McMullen, and I disagree with Xander on this thing too. I think playing teams twice, they have common knowledge of what you are and who you are, and you're not going to surprise them. By the way, I'm not saying you're more talented. They're right there. Eagles are more talented. Are they better coached? I don't know. Dude, hey, how about this? I'll give you this. Vic is hotter right now than Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's resume speaks for itself. As a defensive-minded guy, he's one of the more celebrated coordinators in the National Football League, even more so than Vic. This guy has conference championships as the head guy, and he's also has a Super Bowl ring as a defensive coordinator with Gus Bradley in Seattle. Those guys created the Legion of Boom. Okay? I mean, they helped develop it with Pete Carroll. You had three great minds in Seattle that were defensive-minded guys. Pete Carroll, Gus Bradley, and Dan Quinn. Now, look, I'm not telling you that is a significant advantage on Sunday's game. I'm not going down that line here, okay? That's not what I'm saying to you. It's not what I'm saying. And don't start freaking reaching that, okay? Sil, saw you on the 30 for 30 last night. Pretty sure it was you and the fatigues coming down the ramp. Yeah. I was on that. Absolutely. By the way, I was watching that thing last night too. I watched the 15th anniversary. It's always great to know that Sileo's football team was the number one 30 for 30 on ESPN. Let's see. Sports Illustrated voted us the most hated team in American sports history. I mean, that's how you're remembered, my friends. Okay? That's how you're remembered. They make movies and make lists about me. Always remember that. They make movies. Hey, Kay Adams also retweeted, hey, great to see Kay Adams say that the U was her favorite 30 for 30. She's like, how did you know that? And I go, I just saw you on there say it. I saw you on there say it, that was your favorite. I got it. Hey, pretty cool, man. And anyway, so I watched that thing. Billy Corbin, who is a friend of mine who directed those things last night. I love those things. I love the 30 for 30. Bill Simmons, too. He saw Kay Adams and he tweeted at it. He goes, yep, that's my favorite, too. Okay? Really cool, man. I appreciate it. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button here on a Football Friday. Be jacked up, man. Christmas right around the corner. Your team's won 10 ball games in a row. It's 51 days until your Super Bowl. I hope you bought your tickets already. Time now. All right. So let's get into this bad puppy here. Okay. Give me some scores of what you think. I want to see where you are for this game on Sunday between the Redskins and the Eagles. I'll give you my prediction here in a second. I'll give you the keys too. Nick spoke a little bit today. I thought Nick had a good press conference today. I won't lie. I thought it was pretty good. Let's see. 59-10. Okay. Let's see here. 31-24. 31-17. Okay. Oh, shit. Hey. Says I enjoy watching Jerome Brown's speech at the Fiesta Bowl. Oh, was that a train wreck? Oh, we're sitting here. Joe Paterno's over there, right? And Jerome gets up. He goes, did the Japanese sit down with the Americans before they attacked Pearl Harbor? I'm like, guy, no, please, no, we're not the Japanese. The Japanese get beat in the end. And that's exactly what ended up what happened. I was like this. Oh, no, Jerome, no. That's not a good analogy. The Japanese got beat, you ass bag. Yeah, I told Jerome, I went like this. Dude, the Japanese get killed in the end. They dropped the bombs on them. They lost. Not good. He's like, well, you know what I meant. I'm like, yeah, but it's not a good one. 27-10. I know, man. Dude, as soon as he said it, he goes, did the Japanese, did they sit down with the Americans before they attacked Pearl Harbor? I went, holy shit. This was at a steak fry. This was, look, you know what Jimmy did? He put us in black sweats. They had white sweats. It was bad guy, good guy kind of shit. And there's Jerome Brown going, hey, the Japanese sit down with the Americans before they attacked Pearl Harbor. We all went like this. What the fuck are you doing? And he's walking in and he goes, how was that? I go, dumb. I go, God dang you, man. Oh, man. Hey, don't ever tell me to chill on Jerome Brown, bro. That guy was my best friend. Kiss my ass, flexing. I'm going to flex on you, brother. How you doing? Jerome was an awesome character, Devin. He was just one of a kind. He was one of a kind. Hey, by the way, I sure hope your boy Quinyon Mitchell gets an interception soon. Please Quinyon, make me give you my Rookie of the Year vote. Please. Get a pick. Make it easier. Please. Get a pick. Guy's going to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year without an interception? I don't know. I don't think he will. I do not think he will. Yeah, but nobody throws because he's in zone. He plays zone defense. Nobody's going to give a zone cornerback the Defensive Rookie of the Year vote with no picks. He's got no picks. He's the favorite. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. He's the favorite with no picks. All right. Good luck to you. I don't know if you get my vote. I don't know if you get my vote. He's an intercept. Hey, give me one. Just give me. Sills, nobody throw. I got it. I got it. You're a mean one. Big Sills. Shit, even Joe Krauss last night at Screwballs is calling me the Grinch. What the hell is wrong? I'm going to kick. You know what? Xander pissed me off so bad yesterday. I'm going to kick his ass at 3:30 today, too. Okay? This old man's calling me the Grinch now. It's just criminy. What's going on here? I feel like Lombardi here. What the hell's going on here? Man, that BS. Hit that damn like button. Appreciate all of you. I mean it, man. All supers go to the top. Okay, here we go. This is how Big Sil sees this game on Sunday against the Washington Redskins. Hey, Jeff McClain, is this in quotes? Okay. Here we go. 3 games left of the NFL season. Both teams really need this football game. Actually, 4 games left here. 3 games, excuse me. Both teams need this. Commanders are fighting for a playoff spot. Got to keep Seattle off their hindquarters, and also Atlanta. I think Atlanta's toast because they're making a quarterback change. They're going from Kirk Cousins now to Michael Penix. The Commanders are on the cusp of winning a 10th game. The Eagles are fighting for home field advantage. So, and again, the Commanders, in my opinion, have been in tight games all year. I think that speaks to their youth and the newness of what they're trying to do on both sides of the football. I think they're so well coached. I really do. I think they are 1,000% coached, better than anything I've seen since Mike Shanahan was there. Okay? Sills, the shoe drops and Hurts turns back into the banana peel. Yeah, I got the Commanders 31-21. And Jaden Daniels showing why he's the best QB in the NFC East. Brian Pumper. Bum juice is what he called. Look at Pumper there, man. Way to go, Pumper. Thank you for the super. Look at that there. He basically saying that, hey, Brian, are you basically saying this, that you think that Jalen Hurts, what did Mickey call Spider Rico? He's a tomato. Is that what you're saying? Jalen Hurts is Spider Rico. Brian, is that right? He's Spider Rico. He's a tomato. He's a tomato. Turns back into a banana peel. I got the Commanders 33-21. Jaden Daniels showing you why he's the best NFC East quarterback. He's a tomato can. Hey, Jalen Spider Rico Hurts. I love. Hey, Brian, is that something we can use moving forward? Spider Rico Hurts. Oh my God. I love that. Sills the shoe drops and Hurts turns back into a banana peel. I got the Commanders 33-21. Jaden Daniels showing you why he's the best NFC East quarterback. Man, I love it. Spider Rico Hurts. All right. Oh, man. All right. No question about it. They're fighting for the 7th seed right now, the Redskins. And they are clearly playing some pretty good ball. They've been up and down a little bit the last couple of weeks. They had a tight one last week against New Orleans. And the Eagles are fighting with 3 teams right now. They're fighting with Detroit and Minnesota for home field advantage. Okay? The Commanders are hurt going into this game. No Zach Ertz. Hey, am I right, guys? Help me out on this. Okay? Help me out on this. No Zach Ertz. I think Noah Brown is out, and I think Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, man, is a really good football player. Okay? All right? I think Jeremy Chin is still in, from what I remember, I think talking to Doug Williams, I think he's still in the concussion protocol. So I don't know if he's going to be available also. So you got some key significant people out in this football game. You've got Eckler out, who is a complete back, who is an all-around back. You've got Noah Brown out. I believe he's out for this game. And I think Eckler, like I said, and Zach Ertz are out. And Chin, you don't know if he's going to be able to play in this ball game here on Sunday. So, hey, it's one thing to say next man up when you don't have a next man. They don't have a next man. That's a very limited roster that they have. Please hit the like button, guys. Now, they may get Jonathan Allen back. And now they're getting Marshawn Lattimore back, who I think is a spectacular football player. I'll tell you this. Washington did one thing here to make sure that they're going to stay in line here with the Eagles. What do you think they made that move? They made that move because of A.J. Brown. Okay, they made that move because of Brown. Okay? That's one thing to say next man up. Now, A.J. Brown's knee. Now, from what I was told just a couple minutes before we went on the air, that A.J. participated in practice today, so it looks like he's going to go on Sunday versus the Commanders. So, how limited he's going to be. Everybody's banged up right now. The quarterback's banged up. The running back's banged up. You got guys in the O-line banged up. But that's a common theme across the league right now. I told you, war of attrition matters, man. Look at Detroit. Aiden Hutchinson, they lose a linebacker. They've lost a key running back in Montgomery. I mean, everybody Mahomes is banged up. Everyone across the board right now is dealing with injuries. Okay? I mean, everybody. Not just an Eagle thing. I won't lie. I love the fact the way that they are protecting their guys by resting their players for practice. There's no sense of rolling guys out there right now when you're this deep into the season. Do you want to hear something crazy? The San Francisco 49ers, after week 6, never were in helmets. They were never in shells and full gear the remainder of the season. That's why the 49ers back in the Montana days under Walsh were always so healthy. They were always so healthy because they never had contact. They never practiced in full gear after week 6. They never did it. Okay? I mean, now that was a veteran team. That was different. How you doing, bum juice? You heard Montgomery's still going to play? I want to see that. I heard he was out for the season. We'll see what happens. Okay? All right. Guys, please hit the like button here. Jonathan Allen is ruled out of the game. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for the super chat. By the way, guys, Xander told me something that's very important here. Half the people that watch this show, like I said, too, congratulations, guys, on your 900th episode. That was Monday. I think we're at 904 or 5 today. Thank you guys so much, man. I mean, you guys made this show reach that number. Hey, by the way, as great as I think I am, it doesn't matter if nobody's watching. It's not going to continue. This thing has continued because you guys have made it bigger and bigger. Do you understand we're one of the most watched shows in Philly now? And we're growing across the country. Do you understand that, right? It's not just because of me. Shit, I've been in the business 35 years. I've never done this. I mean, this is my first couple of years doing this shit. I'm a radio guy from the past at heart. It is a great weekend of football too, Stephen. I agree. Sills, these Jalenites are killing me. The championship, they're championing a guy who played one good game out of 14. That's 7.14%. I agree. And hey, Pumper, do you want to hear what they're, well, they kept the 63 split window coupe in the garage. And when they wanted to bring it out, they brought it out last week. Yeah, I mean, see, we can do it anytime we want. Phil Sims said that too, though. Phil said something right here on the program. He did say something. He said this: I don't give a shit where they're ranked. That's a guy who won a Super Bowl and he's Super Bowl MVP. Okay? And I value Phil's opinion. Phil went like this right here on the program. He said, I don't give a shit where they're ranked. They showed me they can do it. And he kind of falls in line with Xander. He's that guy, in my opinion, I have great respect for, Phil Simms. Bill went like this. I don't give a shit where they're ranked. They showed me they can do it. I think they can do it. Okay? I mean, yeah. Phil, see, we get guys on this program that don't just agree with Big Sills. We get people on this program that have their own opinions. I don't put people on our program to agree with me. Just like I don't have you in here to agree with me. You ever notice that? That's the one thing you'll never see in any show in the country. Any show in the country. I put people in here that don't agree with me. And I put people on the air that don't agree with me. You get that, right? I mean, how many times have you went, tell him, Boomer. Tell him, Phil. Tell him, Michael Irvin. Tell him, Tony Dungy. Right? I saw that, brother. I saw you post that. By the way, you're the guy that posts all that stuff over on my X account, right? Brother Hannibal? Dude, you do a good job keeping me updated a lot, man. And I can't tell you how I appreciate that. This guy carries over from our show here, and he goes over to my X account, and he posts some really significant shit that goes on at the moment. Hannibal, that's you, right? I appreciate you, brother. Don't think I don't. I'm glad I get a chance to tell you. If that is you, you post a lot of stuff over on my X account. And I want to thank you, man, because it's good shit, man. WIP Sports legend Howard Eskin announces he's leaving WIP. No. You mean he's pushed out. Okay, after that whole Phillies deal, this is how you exit a guy without kicking a guy's ass out the door. Hey, at the end of the year, Howard, not to make your kid look bad and all, but, we're going to ask you to leave here. How you doing? Pumper, a closet Cowboy fan. Oh, I see. Guy calls your guy Spider Rico Hurts, and he's a Cowboy fan. How you doing? I love me some Pumper. All right. We'll move on. Let me finish this. Going back to being a Saquon Barkley game. Mailman. Mail's here. Spider Hurts. Hand the ball off. They're 20-something in rushing. Oh, by the way. Well, let me finish this. This is another Barkley game. Hand the ball off, baby. I want to see Washington stop them. Okay? I do. I want to see Washington stop Saquon Barkley. Hey, and by the way, I was really glad to see Jason Kelce. Isn't it funny? John McMullen, Dave Zagaro, all the Philly media guys don't give a shit about that record, 2105. Ike Reese, Hugh Douglas, Jason Kelce, Shady McCoy, Brian Westbrook, who was on this program, said it. Every player that you hear talking wants Barkley to get it. You know why? It's a feather in your cap. Okay? And you know what? You know that argument that Xander and I had yesterday about Pro Bowl? You're right. It doesn't matter to fans or media people. It doesn't. It matters to players, though. I posted one of my incentives. If you go over right now and take a look at one of my incentives that I had in my contract, what is 1987? What is it like? What are we talking about? 38 years ago? It's a $40,000 incentive for me just to lift weights. You know what that comes out to today? That's $112,000 for 6 weeks of lifting weights. Just lifting weights. It's an incentive in my contract. I posted it. I sat down with the owner, and he gave me, I had a bunch of them. Show you how much money I was making back in the day, and compared to today, I had a Jerome Brown contract. I had $112,000 in today's money just to lift weights. Can you imagine what making a Pro Bowl was for an incentive? It's a $25,000 incentive back then. Do you know what that would? It was like a $60 or $70,000 incentive if you made the Pro Bowl. That's $300,000 today. $300,000. You don't think that matters to a guy like Cam Jurgens? I mean, and by the way, Lane Johnson's promoting the Pro Bowl on Eagle Twitter. That shit matters. Now, it doesn't matter in the landscape of, that's a different conversation about winning the Super Bowl. It's completely, it has no relevance making a Pro Bowl or not making a Pro, but it does to the players because it's money earned. I put that incentive up there. You got to read it. I don't even know if it was for 6 weeks. It may have been for 2 months. May have been a little longer, for 2 months. $40,000 in 1987 comes out to $112,000 just to lift weights and show up to the facility. I could have showed up to the facility and just checked it off. And I did end up getting my money. I mean, dude, 1987, I made $300,000. You added what it would be worth today. I made $300,000 and I made the same money Jerome did in 1987. Same money. We had the same contract. We had the same agent. We had the same agent. And we made the same contract. My situation was different. I was going to be the 7th or 8th pick in the draft. And I had to go in a supplemental draft like Reggie White went in a supplemental draft. And I was the 2nd pick. Okay, I was the 2nd pick in that draft. You know who drafted behind me? Chris Carter. You took him. Sills, they hate me because they ain't me. All Jalenites will bow down to your real king, Pepe La Pampa. How you doing? All right, let me finish this. Daniels will be better in this football game. He will be better. Okay? I got the Eagles winning this thing 28-14. You're just better. I think Washington has made significant improvements, but I think the Eagles are just better. I told you on Monday, I'm not going against the team the rest of the way out. So my predictions on Friday are going to be a little bit more watered down because you're just better right now than the teams that you're playing at the end of the season. And look, Washington's probably your last true competition. Okay? Probably your true last competition. The rest of them, you could probably beat them with a C+ effort, the remaining games that you have. This is going to be a test. Washington needs to win this game because they're fighting off everyone for the number 7 spot. Okay? I mean, hey, look at Senor. Washington was never competition. No, but Carolina was. How you doing? Yeah. Okay? How you doing? Yes, sir, senorita. Hey, real quick here. I want to show you something here. I want to make a point to you here on how great your guy Vic Fangio's done. But I also want to make a point here how it doesn't really matter how good a coordinator you have. Okay? It doesn't. It's all about right fit. Nick addressed that today. Okay? Nick addressed. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Give me a total on that like button. Hit that like button here. You tell me if the Miami Dolphins are having a bad year defensively. Okay? Pumper, Mark, Holmes burner account. Oh, man. What? They're 6th in total defense. They're number 8 in pass defense. They're number 8 in rush defense. They're 13th in scoring defense. They're 6th in red zone. And they're third down, they're 6th. They've had a great year defensively. Vic was terrible last year with them. Poor fit. They're not losing games in Miami because of their defense. They're losing games because of that shitty offense and it being as soft as ever. The Dolphins are doing a good job defensively. They're doing a good job. Okay? By the way, it's not what you're missing my point. The Philadelphia Eagles got a right fit. Kellen Moore is probably not the right fit for that offense. I would fire Kellen Moore at the end of the year, no matter what. Even if they win a Super Bowl, I would fire him. He's not the right coordinator for the quarterback. Wouldn't you? If that passing offense stays down where it is and they win a Super Bowl and your quarterback doesn't seemingly get better, and he hasn't. He's been okay, not great. The passing game's not very good. Oh, I know. It's all about the rushing, and I know Bart. Oh, yeah, I got it. Funny, that doesn't work anywhere else but in Philly. Wouldn't you replace him? Should you not replace Kellen Moore at the end of the year no matter what? Even if he wins it. Would you replace him? You wouldn't replace a guy who has one of the worst passing attacks in football. And the quarterback is really most of the year not part of the offense. He's kind of part of it, but not really. Let me ask you this. Would A.J. Brown want the offensive coordinator replaced? Yes or no? Get this. Abe says it's stupid to start all over again. Okay. If you're happy with that way the quarterback is playing, then you keep him. Okay. Shit, I've heard all year long. Even Xander say he doesn't like him. But you're going to keep him, bring him back? All right. So you're under the notion you think Barkley's going to go for $2,000 next year too. Right? Even though the 2,000K club is a very exclusive and most players never touch that club. So you think that that's going to happen again next year. Okay. I don't. Running backs, treads, those hires end up fading quicker than any other player on the team. We know that. Look at the way that they're treated as a position in the league. Okay? I mean, Barkley's having a career year, so you're expecting him to have another career year next year. Okay? I mean, so you would bring back Kellen Moore. How many people would bring back Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator? Even if, let's say they get to the NFC title game, get beat, win it, what have you? I don't know. Will you bring him back? I wouldn't. That's a good comment. Jalen needs consistency. I like that one. Big C, I do. Sills, I would strongly consider replacing Moore. He does get some credit for switching over to the RPO, which is a system he did not use. Correct. I mean, there's no question right now, Bob, that he's calling plays in a system he's never called before. This is not a comfortable system for him. He's still trying to figure it out. And one of the things, Bob, that they figured out, in my opinion, okay, has been this. Wait a minute. Dennis goes like this. I haven't been wrong about your passing game. Your passing game has blown all year. Nakobe. Hey, Nolan, we'll see, guys. We'll see, Dennis. Hey, Dennis, let's see. One part of a season doesn't make a career. He's playing well. He is, Dean. Nolan's playing a lot. Nolan has not played like the 30th player taken in the draft yet. And nor has Jordan Davis. They're good players. You know who has played over his place in the draft? Josh Sweat, Cam Jurgens, Zach Bond was the third rounder in New Orleans. Quinyon Mitchell has outperformed where he was taken at 22. Jalen Carter, 9th pick. I think he's probably between 3 and 5 if you had to redraft him. I'm going to tell you this. The Bears ain't passing on him if they knew that that guy would be that guy. You're not passing on that. Okay? Cooper DeJean, absolutely. Cooper DeJean is not a second-round pick. I would put Cooper DeJean around 22. I'd put Quinyon Mitchell 10, between 10 and 12. Okay? Milton Williams, not a third-round pick. I would put Milton 25. Yeah. Okay? Yes. 25th pick, somewhere there. Jordan Davis, I would put at the beginning of the second round. Sydney, I can't, it's incomplete. Okay, Nolan, top of the second. 30th, top of the second. Look, the 30th pick and the 35th pick, not a lot of difference. Okay, not a lot of difference, just money and financial. When you're a first-round pick, there's different money, according to the collective bargaining agreement. Okay? Jordan Davis is not a bust. He's not a bust. He was overvalued, and expectations were set too high for him. He's not a bust. Hey, dude, like I said, I told you on draft day, Jordan Davis, his situation was going to be, if you're lucky, you get Vince Wilfork. That's his floor. I thought his ceiling was Fletcher Cox. He'll never get the Fletcher Cox status. The 95-96 Bulls struggled every game versus Toronto. They were 40 games under 500. When you are the best teams, bring their A game. Be pumpers, snort lines. He's right. Shitty. Hey, thank you, Joaquin. When you're the dog, man, you get everybody Super Bowl. That's a true comment. I'm not replacing Moore. I don't trust little Nicky. You guys are easily persuaded. How you doing? Big Marshall. So, Big Marshall, you're cool with the way Jalen Hurts' development's coming as quarterback, right? Okay? Get this. That's right, because they all sucked in their careers. Nakobe Dean blew out loud. Nolan Smith was showing nothing in his year and 4 games. Let's see who else. Jordan Davis was still not where he needs to be. Bryce Huff blew out loud and still does. Q, I'm shocked at how great he's been. Cooper DeJean. Yeah, I'm sure, get this. So according to M. Reyes, this asshole looks at me and goes like this. Sileo was wrong about Zach Bond. So is Mickey Loomis, the general manager of the Saints, who had him for 4 years. You're right, dude. A Super Bowl winning general manager was wrong about Zach Bond, too. Okay, sure. Guilty. Me and Mickey Loomis, guy who won a Super Bowl ring. Take the day off, kid. You'll be all right. Let's see here. Remember what Lamar said about his growth this year. He said with OC Todd Monken, I'll tell you this, man. He said the year with Todd Monken absolutely has been essential. He had a year with him, and now look at him in his passing game. So you're saying this, Bob, that next year will be better with Kellen Moore. I buy that. I could buy that. I could buy that, Bob. That give them another year together. Okay, especially since they're winning. Okay. I'm calling it now. I think Nolan Smith is going to be better than Reddick over the long haul because he's better at the run than pass. And his pass rush is pretty good for a second-year player. High hopes. Jason, I think his number one issue is going to be his size. That will determine whether or not he'll have a successful career. He's a swimp dude, man. Every single press conference, Vic Fangio brings that up. He's a little dude. I think durability is going to be a problem for him. So we'll see. Now, again, I thought durability would be a problem for Devontae Smith. Okay? I did. I thought that would be an issue. He's getting banged up a little bit this year. And I think you're starting to see that a little this year with him because he's been in and out of the lineup for the first time in his career. Okay? I'll tell you what you're also seeing. You're seeing A.J. Brown with all the reps that he's taken over the last couple of years. I think that is collateral damage for the amount of reps that he's taken since he's been an Eagle. Remember something here. He didn't play like this and wasn't asked to do the things that he's doing in Philly and Tennessee. That offense was not built around A.J. Brown. That offense was built around Derrick Henry. I mean, what did he have most of the time? 62 catches, 900 yards, 1,000 yards. He wasn't really a focal point in that offense. He was a blocker. And when you're in a blocking offense, it takes its toll on you. And I think that's why you're seeing him in and out of the lineup. By the way, you don't think – let me ask you this, guys. Hey, by the way, real quick before I make this point, is he playing Sunday? Is A.J. Brown playing Sunday? Is he playing? Does anyone know if he's playing? Prior to going on the air, I heard he's playing. So let me ask you this. See what Xander says because he talks to John. Yes, he's confirmed he's playing. Okay, let me ask you something. How many years did he play in Tennessee blocking downfield for Derrick Henry? How many years was that? Let me take a look at this. A.J. Brown. I'm gonna make a point to you here on Brown, on what's happened to him this year. And I think if you're Howie, it's something to keep an eye. By the way, I think it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not telling you, this year's been a rough year for him. So let's take a look at this. How many years was he in Tennessee? 3. This is his 3rd year, so this is year 6. His first year, he had 52. Next year, he had 70 catches. These are pedestrian numbers in today's NFL. 63. So his first 3 years in Tennessee, 52 catches, 70 catches, 63. 1,051, 1,075, 869. What you really love about it, though, is the yards per catch. 20.2 his rookie year, which is fucking insane. 15.4. I mean, anytime you're over 13 yards a catch, you're a really elite ball player. So to be fair to that, he's really had, every time he touches the ball, he's going to get you 10 plus yards. His best year was 22 where he had 17. He's floating around that number right now. Here's my point. Well, those first 3 years in Tennessee, he's blocking for Derrick Henry. And now the last year, he's blocking for Saquon Barkley. So 4 of the 6 years that he's played, he's been instrumental in a blocking offense. You don't think that takes its toll on a 27-year-old wide receiver? Tony, thank you, my friend. Hey, you don't think that takes its toll? Tyreek Hill's not blocking in the run game for the Dolphins. Jamar Chase is not blocking in the run game. Justin Jefferson might be blocking in the run game. The war of attrition also takes its toll on that. And I also happen to think that's one of the reasons why he just doesn't want to be used as a blocking dude. And last week they broke out the touches for him, and it was significant. Okay? Yeah, I got Tony, man. Tony, thank you very much. We appreciate you becoming a new member. Seals, more working with the RPO should allow him to blend his system with the RPO system that Jalen Hurts excels in. The fact that Hurts has not looked like a prototypical quarterback might help us keep him in 25. You know, I'm starting to get bought into that, Bob. Bob, I'm starting to buy into that. Okay, I'm starting to buy into that. Hey, Sills, wait a minute now. Monk in the first year, he's a better passer. Lamar in the second year. Could Jalen be a better passer next year? Because both him and Moore have worked a little bit and they know the weaknesses and strengths of both guys. I can be bought into this. Okay? Abe. So what they're doing is they're getting out, they're getting to know one another this year. And next year, they could have a Lamar Jackson type. What Xander thought he would see, 4,600 yards. Look, I never in a million years thought Lamar Jackson would be a 4,500-yard passing quarterback. I never thought that. Dude, the year he won his first MVP, he threw for 3,100 yards. Wasn't like, and what's crazy about that 3,100 yards, he had 36 touchdown passes, which led the league. So, again, I mean, Sills, another year with Kellen, they improved the passing game next year. Like Todd Monken has improved. Whose take was that? Okay? Whose take was that? Because that's pretty good. Who brought that up? About Monken. Was that you, Abe, that did that? I know it's not M. Reyes because he most of the time has shitty takes. He probably has one every 3 days. Okay? Bob, that was you? Okay. Washington fans are up on Lattimore. He's a good player. He is. He was on New Orleans when Saquon gutted them for 147. No A.J. Brown. Smitty got hurt early, 31-16. Eagles sweep the NFC East. Okay? That'd be pretty incredible. I mean, still to this day, how many years has it been now that nobody has won back-to-back NFC East? It's over 20 years, I think that number is. Okay? Nobody's built for it. Nobody's built for that. Nobody's built to take a constant pounding. Here, let me show you something here. And I'll make this point to you guys. Okay? When you're a football player, and this is how your body acts. You keep hitting the same joint every single day. It's like hitting a nail, hammer hitting a nail every single day. The head of the nail breaks. Your body's not made or built for this. Fucking stupid. Nobody's body's built for this. Your body breaks every day. Practice, games, college, high school. Pounding on the same limbs, same spots. You live like a dog. You every 7 years, you had a year. Nobody's built for anything like that. It's a stupid comment. Built for it. We built for taking a beating. Well, then how come Barkley's broken down? Barkley's had 3 significant injuries. 3 significant injuries. By the way, you got these remaining football games here. Are you looking to preserve them or are you not? Okay? Are you looking to preserve them? Told us last week AJ's words would hurt Pittsburgh's chances. Told us last week AJ's words would hurt Pittsburgh's chances. Seals, you act like AJ's crackback blocking. Well, how many times? Just to show you what an idiot this guy is, how many games has AJ missed this year? And how many games has he been on the injured list? How many games he missed this year? Didn't he miss a month of football games? So he missed a month of football games, and he's been on the injured list, and he's been questionable 3 other times. He's 27. You think that's going to get better then at 27? 3 games. Okay, 3 games. And how many he missed 3 games, and how many games was he on the injury report for a significant injury? Another 3? He's 27. I said it's something to keep an eye on. I didn't say something to worry about. I said something to keep an eye on. Okay? Would we not, hey, Bob, most of these people in here right now are so fucking eagle honks. Would you not agree, Bob? He's done more blocking in the run game this year than any year since he's been in Philly. Would you not agree to that, Bob? Got to at least talk to some people with some common sense here. Would you not agree that he has been blocking more this year than any time, okay, since he's been an Eagle? And I think it's taken. Hey, by the way, do you happen to think that took a toll on Devontae? Hey, man, I hate, but I like your show. Fly, Eagles, fly. God bless you. You too, Emmanuel. Hey, guys, that's a great point that we have not talked about. Do you think this style of football game, it's taking its toll on the wide receiving core this year? In both not getting their targets and physically? Do you? Do you think it's taking its toll? Both guys have been hurt all year. I mean, we've not seen these guys banged up more than they have this year. You think that's by coincidence that Barkley's been added to the team and they're running the ball more, and your 2 star wideouts are hurt all the time? I mean, how many games have they actually played together this year? 10? Like, how many games has the tight end and the 2 wide receivers played this year together, you think? 5? 4? Okay? Right? Do you think this style of play? Nope. We have to win at any cost at man. Emmanuel, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, do you think this style of play has taken its toll on the wideouts this year, both in production and in health? That's all I'm asking you. I'm not asking you about wins and losses here. I'm asking you its toll on the 2 guys that you're paying $51 million to. That's all I'm asking. Okay? I mean, so with the tight end and the 2 wideouts, you've had 3 games this season where all 3 guys have been on the field together. $15 million for your tight end, 25 for Devontae, and 35 for AJ. And they played 3 games this season. And you've been a predominant run team, correct? And these guys block. How many times has Nick just given flowers to the wideouts blocking downfield? You know, I got to tell you something. When Nick started giving AJ Brown and Devontae flowers about blocking downfield, AJ came out the next game, and that's when he started bitching about the fact, hey, you know, it's time to throw the ball around a bit. I'm not saying he's wrong. Almost every playoff team had significant injuries. That's not what the fuck I'm asking you. I'm asking you, no shit, dude. Thank you, Captain Obvious. I brought it up. Mahomes is injured. I'm talking about, would you not agree that this year has had your wideouts hurt more than any time since they've been together? Yes or no? No shit. Has this, I'm asking, it's a question. Have they been hurt more this year than any time in the last 3? Okay. Does this style of play, has it taken its toll on the wideouts? This style of play is taking its toll on the brain cell of the Jalenites. They're fighting for their lives every week. Mental gymnastics of hell. Oh, my God. I love it. Yeah. Oh, man. Get this. This guy thinks this is a dumb take when fucking your guys have been injured all year long. Hey, way to go, dickhead. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. These guys have missed significant time. You got a guy now questionable on playing Sunday. He's going to play hurt. And Devontae's been in and out of the lineup, and he's been getting concussions all year long or something with his knee, hamstrings, what have you. They've been out all year. One guy's going to have I think AJ's going to get 1,000 yards this year. I think he is. And you're telling me, no. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. Take a knee, kid. Put your aluminum foil hat on. So is it taking a toll on Smitty? A.J. Brown has a better build for what's been asked. Yeah, and plus, Bob, he's used to it when he was in Tennessee. A.J.'s toll is more mental. He's been in this spot before. Doesn't want to go back to being a blocking guy like he was in Tennessee. Bob, that's what I say, too. I say A.J. doesn't want to go back to that because right now, with the injuries, he's on pace. Bob, that's a great take. He's playing like he was in Tennessee. Because look at where he is, Bob. He's got 56 catches right now. And with the remaining games, he'll probably have somewhere near 70. He'll probably be somewhere around 1,100 yards. He's at 946. He'll go over 1,000 against Washington this weekend. So he'll go over 1,000 this weekend. But he's probably going to be around 1,100 for the season. And he's got 5 touchdowns. This will be his least productive touchdown year, potentially, in 4 years. Yeah, no, hey. We just need 5 more years of production from AJ. That's 8 years of good play. He's like Irvin. And I would say, too, Anthony Owens. And that style of physical play doesn't last long. Okay? Yes. Okay? Okay? Let's see here. 1,100 to miss 3 games. Hey, how about the real good context? Last year, Justin Jefferson missed 9 ball games and had 1,100 yards. What are you doing? Had 1,100 yards. Unless you're Jefferson. Justin Jefferson missed 9 ball games last year, and he had 1,000. Elite. That's how you do it. I'm going to double check on that, how many games he played last year. So your guy's going to get 1,000, and he missed 3 ball games. Let's see what Justin Roseman had. Or, excuse me, Justin Jefferson. Let's see what Justin Roseman had. Let's see what he had here last year. How many games he missed? Dude, this guy's so freaking good. Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson started 9 ball games last year, and he had 1,000 yards. Elite. Elite. Holy shit. I know. Minnesota is 12-2. I know they are. I know they're 12-2. Okay? Oh, man. Really good, man. Really good stuff. That's great. Hey, Justin Roseman. Hey, Bob. Justin Roseman. 1,100 yards and missed 3 games. How you doing? All right. So Nick Sirianni spoke. I like how they keep him on an egg timer. I think it's wonderful. By the way, give me a total on where we are in the likes right now. Please hit the like button. You notice they keep Nick Sirianni on an egg timer? Okay, that egg timer goes off, man. At 2 minutes, 3 minutes, man, that bitch is out of there. Okay, one more. Hey, they got him on an egg timer. He's the only coach I've ever seen on an egg timer. 3 minutes. Let's go. Oh, my God. Please hit the like button. Guys, I appreciate you guys here on a Football Friday. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We will talk to our friend, NFL Hall of Fame voter Jason Cole on 4:30 from Yahoo Sports. And the Godfather, we'll have him at 5:30. So here he is here. The egg timer himself, Nick Sirianni here. I do love how he's been coached by Hair Bob Lang. I love it. Hey, AJ's availability. Is he practicing? We'll know more today. When did he get hurt? Game? We'll know more today. I was like, holy shit. He must be watching Big Sills because he's answering questions perfectly. So what about AJ's availability? You know, we'll know more today. So is he going to play Sunday? You know, we'll see how it goes today. And we'll see how that works out. Oh, okay. Well, I know that they watch because Merrill Reese did a show from Nick Sirianni's office last year. So, yeah, I know. And plus, Frank Reich told me. Okay? And plus, they call my bosses. You know, I love the answer. What about AJ playing? We'll know more. It's a perfect way to answer that. Feed him shit. It was by the way, it was really well done. That's probably the best I've seen him answer a question that he's not supposed to answer. Did AJ get hurt or in practice? I will know more today. And he kept answering it. By the way, I love the fact he kept answering it like Belichick. He was being a dick. I couldn't believe it. Instead of those word salad answers, he was giving you a dick Belichick answer. I will know more today. Okay? I will know more today. Shit. What are you talking about? I get a press pass from anywhere by the NFL, anywhere I want. I'll tell you what, I'll take a break in a couple minutes, and I'll show you 60 of them, including Super Bowl press credentials, all-star games. I choose not to leave my house, dickhead. How you doing? Matter of fact, I will show that. We were moving, and I found about 40 of them, of my press credentials. I go anywhere I want in the country. All I got to do is call Adam Silver, Manfred, call the front office in the NFL. I get a ticket anywhere I want. Big C, I will. How you doing? He was asked the question, and dude, this guy's getting a little better at answering these questions here. Let's see here. Vic continues to improve And how is he connected with younger players? Can I tell you how do you think Vic Fangio is connecting with these younger players? What do you think is the number one reason Vic Fangio is connecting with players? Sileo clause. Spider Rico Hurts. Pat says honesty. Totally one of them. There you go, Buckhalter. You're right, man. You know how you connect with young players? Their success. I'll give a shit what he and how his approach is. If I see myself getting better and that guy is helping me get better, that creates confidence and honesty and trust. Okay? And can I tell you the three things that has happened with the Philadelphia Eagles that has taken a little bit of Howie out of the room here and why they're so good? You know why they're so good? Howie's out of the equation. Here's how. He ain't playing Bryce Huff because Bryce Huff is paid. He's playing the best guy that gives the best practice stuff. One of the reasons why you're seeing some of those backup defensive tackles getting as many reps as Jordan Davis is because the work ethic they have in practice, the success and the production they're getting in games, the way that they're getting better and developing as players under Vic, he's going to play them. That's how you create a great unit. Nobody gives a shit where you're drafted once you're in the league. It's what you do when you're in it. It's a production thing now. That's what made New England great. Nobody cared Brady was a sixth-rounder, did you? Get this. I'll make this point to you. If Tom Brady was a sixth-round draft choice, Howie Roseman would never play him. The Eagle coaches would never have played him. How do you know Tyler, what's his name? Tyler McKee? How do you know that guy's not Tom Brady? You don't. So what's the backstory of you becoming a JAKIB host? How did you find out about this job? It was really, Anthony, it was just real luck with both of us. Okay? And they took a gamble. I am a pariah in my business. That's why everyone tries stopping me from working. Everybody. It's not about JAKIB. Everyone wants me not working. Everybody. You don't understand this. I have fought this my 34 years. Nobody wants me working. Nobody. They took a gamble. And it's paid off. Okay? It's paid off. For both. Okay? Yeah, Xander and I and Big Joe had a bowl of pasta fazool, and, the things worked out, and we kind of passed the thing around, and we're good. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, well, Pat, I'll give you one story here. Thank you very much for becoming a member. N-Town, thank you very much. I'll give you one quick one. When I left the Mighty 1090 and I was not fired, I left. I posted my contract. I was making $350,000 a year at this new place for Odyssey. And who were going to move to Boston. I didn't get fired in San Diego. They were going to move me to Boston. Then the pandemic hit. And when I did my show 3 times, Kevin Callahan, the market manager, and Bob brought me into their office and said, "Please don't be so direct." And I was like, "What do you mean?" "Well, it's kind of harsh talk, how you talk. So you don't want me to do my show? A little bit kinder." And by the way, so I was number 3 in the market in men 25-54. I was number 3. I used to get $45,000 bonuses every quarter because I was 3rd. There was one time I was 2nd, and if I got number 1, I would have got an $85,000 bonus. I mean, Fangio also said that he's never shared his system of analytics that he uses. That's great. That's why no one of his students can run his scheme. Sean Desai, you're saying, and probably pointing out. Truth, justice, in the big Sills way. How you doing? 5 months. Keep going what you do, Sills. Appreciate what you do. Jeff, thank you for being part of us and growing with us. Oh, yeah. That's so with the whole thing with my broadcasting career. And by the way, just so people know, I was 15 years in one place on WDAE. I got there, the ratings were 04, men 25-54. Not kidding. I left, I had 9 shares. And everyone goes, didn't you say the monkey thing? And I go, yeah. And then 2 weeks later, 97.5, the Fanatic, their old market manager hired me and gave me a pay raise. So I wasn't out of business. I was out of work 10 days. Well, this guy was fine. I was out of work 10 days. That 97.5's market guy, Beasley, hired me 10 days later. They had already given me I had a contract on the table with them for 3 years for WQAM. My wife and I, we were leaving. And when they found out we were leaving, they conjured this whole bullshit up. It's crazy. Okay. Oh, share. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. You're right. That's 2 inside. Ratings. Ratings. This whole thing was called the people meter. They went from Arbitron to the people meter. And as soon as I did that, I was doing 9.8s, 25-54. Yeah. It's crazy. When I left, we were almost doing 10 shares in the morning. My next closest competitor, I wasn't competing against other sports, though. I was competing against Bubba the Love Sponge, who was doing 14 shares. I was doing 10 shares on a sports station by myself for 3 hours. How you doing? Sills, your new name has to be Silo Owens since you gave A.J. Brown a lot of heat. I never said I didn't like the player. I never said it. It's a true story, Elizabeth. I did give Joy Taylor a start. You know how I gave Joy Taylor a start? Joy Taylor walked in. He's Jason Taylor's sister. She was a producer of my show. And she walked in and she goes, I want to get on air. And I go, well, let me hear you. So she's like, I heard her on a weekend. I said, okay, starting Monday, you're doing my updates. You know that thing Colin Cowherd has with the news? I started that. Because I took it from Howard Stern with Robin. And so I did it on my show. We did the news, top and the bottom. And Joy would come up with sports talks, sports stories around the country. And I said, you're doing that. She goes, can you do that? I go, I could fucking do anything I want. I have total autonomy over my program and the content. I always made that clear. I have complete control of my content, all my radio shows. She goes, you can do that? I go, yeah, you start Monday. And now she's a big star in Fox. And she's been on our show. She sends me happy holidays, birthdays, because I gave her her start. She worked hard, and I gave her a start. Yes, sir. Sills knows what he does. No. My wife, you know what she said to my, you know what, my wife's a smoke show. I don't need it. Okay. You know, my wife, Joy goes, what can I do for Dan to make Dan like me? You know what she said? My wife, get him a guest. She put Dan Marino on because she knew Dan Marino through Jason. So I posted the picture of me and Dan Marino doing a live shot. Dan came down and did my show for me for about an hour. And so Marino sat with me doing the show. And I looked over at her. I go, then she got me Nick Saban when Nick was the head coach of the Dolphins. She dressed up real nice, went over to Nick. Nick grabbed Nick. Nick did an hour on my program. I looked at her and I said, I don't give a shit how you look. Get me a guest. Yeah. How you doing? Okay. All right. Dude, Nick had a great press conference. Okay? Yeah, that's right. My wife produced my show for 20 years when I was on KMBR and at the beginning of 1090. You know what my wife did when I got to 1090 after we had some troubles at QAM in Miami? You know what she did? She walked in for the first 5 years, making sure the producer that we hired did the right thing every day because she wanted the show to be off the ground right. She told the guy, do it this way. Don't do it your way. Your way sucks. Do it this way. Do it that way. Do it this way. My wife watched over the show to make sure we had no subversives. Okay? You want to get fired as a head coach in the NFL or in broadcasting? Let management put a producer in your show. You're automatically fired. You're automatically fired. You got to bring your own people in. Don't ever, here's some advice. If you're ever going to get into radio, don't ever allow the general manager or anybody ever to give you a producer that's in the building. You know why? They'll set you up for failure. I did it once, and I never will do that again. Okay? And you know what the cool thing about Xander is? This is his fucking deal. This guy's not looking for disaster. He's looking for success. Big Sills. I'm a disabled veteran. Can you and Xander do a fundraiser to bless me and my son with Philly Dallas tickets? I will drive 20 hours to that game. Joaquin, I don't know if we can do tickets, but you know what I think we'll do? We'll figure something out. Okay? Thank you for your service. Hey, again, I'm getting tickets like that. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, we appreciate you very much. And thank you. Okay? Hit the like button here. Yes, sir, baby. It is a football Friday. By the way, finally, Nick Sirianni had a right press conference. You know what that was? Hey, when did AJ get hurt? Well, you know, we'll know more later today. We'll know more later today. Holy Jesus Christ. That's how you do it, Junior. Right there. Right there. Absolutely. So let me write this one down. Since Xander doesn't like Kellen Moore, would you replace him? Would you replace him? End of the year. In this style of offense, has it taken its toll on the wideouts who have been banged up all year? Without further ado, brothers argue. Okay? Brothers argue. Okay? This is what we do here, baby. Hit that freaking like button here. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, hit that bad puppy here. Oh, wait, before I get Big Z on, my boy Pumper Stills is Jalen Hurts an industry plant. Skills don't measure up to the notoriety he gets, but he gets a lot of it. Just a face, but nothing more. Woo! There you go. Bum juice. That's my boy, man. Thank you, Pumper. All right. Without further ado, the man who hates the Pro Bowl, the man who thinks the Pro Bowl has nothing to do with fucking anything in life and nothing to do with his Super Bowl and his appearance in New Orleans, the man who says, you fucking suck, Sileo, the only man that I love, and the only man that comes on this program, and my aunt gives me a ton of shit over. Without further ado, Big Z, Xander Krauss.
What's going on, Big Cells?
Yeah. How you doing, kid?
I'm doing damn good, man. It's Christmas season here, and
what's that behind you?
I got Big Cells still. You want me to get rid of Big Cells?
What is that?
You don't like my Grinch? I'll change my Grinch.
I
It
gotta
was
tell you
stuck up there from earlier because I was calling you the Grinch.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you guys something. I haven't had something like that happen to me in 25 years. For the first time, this guy got me, man. I went back. He goes, you need to go back and watch it. So Xander goes, you got to go back and watch it, Sills. I watched the open of that thing, and I sat there. My hand even went like this, over the top, over the top. You got me, man. Kudos to you, kid.
I didn't get you, but we'll have some fun today. I do want to talk to you. You know, I know it's obviously we'll talk some Eagles, but I do want to talk some college football today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Notre Dame and Indiana, and then the playoff.
Is this off limits for an out? So you tell me, am I out of line? All right. The Alabama Crimson Tide has been knocked out of the playoffs, obviously. So I have no dog in the fight. I have no pony in the fight. Okay. I am going to take Notre Dame and cheer on Notre Dame for the playoffs because I am a fan of their head football coach. I am a proud Catholic, and he has brought back many of those traditions to the school, to the football team, to the mass. I was reading a story this morning. Is that out of bounds for me to root for Notre Dame as a Alabama fan?
Because of where you were raised? No. Because I'll tell you who I'm rooting for.
I was going to ask you.
I
figured you weren't rooting for anybody. You'll just enjoy the games.
SMU.
Okay, I like that.
I'll tell you why.
See, my girlfriend's a Penn Stater, so she's going to want me to root for Penn State, but Lord knows I'm never rooting.
Absolutely.
I don't root for Penn State. All right? I'm not
that ain't happening.
I think I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I'm going to pick Notre Dame this year.
Here's why I'm going with SMU, because the NCAA shut that program down with the death penalty. It's the only program ever to have taken that in the face for paying players. Funny now. Hey, did you hear that stat I said yesterday? Every single starting quarterback in the Southeastern Conference makes more money than Brock Purdy.
That's insane. That's insane. Buckhalter says Krauss is about as Irish as sauerkraut. You know, my last name, I actually don't have any genetic connection to my last name. A couple generations before me, great-great-grandfather was adopted, took on this name, obviously, and then the lineage started from there. So I don't think I have any. Krauss sounds what? German, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really think I'm German at all.
Okay. Oh, look at Kevin from Crossing Broad. Just so we're on the same page, the reason we live in the television and radio hot take world where everyone just says shit to get a reaction is because people like Howard and Angelo that pioneered it, their legacy is giving us talent like Dan Sileo.
Is that what he put?
Kevin, you suck a big one. Holy cow, look at this. Just so we're on the same page. The reason we live in a television and radio hot take world where everyone just says shit to get a reaction is because of people like Howard and Angelo. That's what they pioneered. Their legacy is giving us talent like Dan Sileo.
Wait, that?
Kevin Kincaid, that guy from that fucking Crossing Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, look, I want to show the picture I got from this guy. You remember what happened with Rocksteady this week, right? On Monday?
Oh, yeah. He won a jersey.
He won the Jalen Hurts jersey.
Right.
So he got it today, and he sent me the picture on DMs. Let me pull it up. It's a dope picture. Yeah, this is dope, Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, man. I'm a fan of yours, dude. You're a real good.
Check it out. Check it out. Here we go. There he is. He got the Hurts jersey on the wall. Yeah.
Holy shit. I love it.
Right? It's cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
He's got it in, looks like his little man cave or
Rocksteady
cave, I guess.
Hanging up there, man.
Yeah. So that's cool. I love getting the pictures of the people getting their stuff. So a lot of fun. We gave away 5 straight days we did this week. So it was a giveaway.
He looks like Diddy, all dressed up.
Who does? Rocksteady? Holy shit, Rocksteady. You just got
Rocksteady, you look like Diddy.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, wait a minute. So what I love about this line
Diddy?
is,
That doesn't look like Diddy to me.
man. Yeah. I'm busting your bones, man. That's all good. Hey, what I love about this guy here, this Kevin Kincaid guy, he mentions me in the same light of Angelo and Howard Eskin, who built Sports Talk in Philadelphia. I got to hang on, Xander. What a great compliment.
I can tell that Kevin Kincaid has gotten in your head.
No, I'm in his head. Why would you respond?
Well, you're definitely in his head. That's
a great compliment being compared to those two. Being compared to two Philly icons. Your dad loves Howard.
My dad does like Howard Eskin. Howard Eskin's a hard worker.
He is. What a great compliment. Absolutely. What a great compliment, man. Oh, my God. I'm in that. Here, my dad always listened to Eskin. Why is he tagging me in WIP in the car? So I had to listen to the show as well. Howard spent most of his time belating callers' response while being combative, condescending always. You get...
Look at Rocksteady. This is a good comeback right here. He said, Diddy money. You got money like Diddy. That's a good comeback. I'll take that.
Diddy money here, man. All right, Xander, let's get into it. By the way, man, dude, I'll tell you what, congratulations, man, on growing the fucking channel to being where everyone now responds to everything we do here. I mean, you know what? And all kidding aside, it's not just whether it's Cross and Broad or whether it's Jay Glazer or anybody. Bro, it's a mouthpiece now where everyone knows where we are again. Here's the one thing I love about what you and your dad. By the way, you know what's funny? I had to kind of soft sell your dad at the beginning because somebody goes like this. How'd you get him? How'd you guys hook up? I think Tony Bruno was the guy that hooked us all up because he said you should talk to you guys and your dad.
I don't remember. This was what, 2020 at the time? 2020.
Yeah, I think Tony Bruno was the guy that kind of hooked us all up.
Yeah. This is that's when I first really got started. That's when we really first started, launched the channel. We launched Birds 365 on April 5th that year. And we launched the National Football Show on like April 28th, like right after the draft.
Right. It was your dad wanted to start it for the draft.
Yep, it all kicked. That's when it all kicked off. Birds 365 in the National Football Show.
How about this? Monday was my 900th episode. I mean,
yeah, incredible.
You know, I was like, you know, I love what your pop says. I mean, he goes like this. I can't wait for the 1800th. I was like, after yesterday, I don't know. Hey, all good. Let me get into some of these questions here. By the way, look, I've already buried my lead here on how I'm going with this, and I set it up Monday. You're just a better football team than Washington. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive game. But look, Jeremy Chin most likely is out. I don't believe they're getting Jonathan Allen back. You know, you're missing Zach Ertz. Noah Brown's out. Austin Eckler's out. Next guy up, I don't know who you have as the next guy up in Washington. You're already limited. They play their game. They probably win this ball game. You think easily? Is this a fourth quarter game? Is this a third quarter game? Is it a Barkley game? How do you see this thing rolling out here?
Listen, I think it's a Barkley game with that defense. But, you know, Sills, remember back when we played them, what was it, week 10 or 11 or whatever it was, they were winning that game 10-6 going into the fourth quarter. We had 20 fourth quarter points. Saquon Barkley had a couple touchdowns. So this could be a little bit of a dogfight. Now, I think we're playing better than we were then. I think our team right now, coming off of that Steelers game, I think they're riding high with a lot of confidence that they can kind of do it however they want, especially after being able to pass versus Steelers. And I think it's going to be a we'll see thing. You know, let's see what's working on Sunday, and I think that's what they're going to do. But I don't know. I told you when they were 7-2, I just don't fear this Commander team. I just don't see it yet. I think they're a good team. I think they're a nice story. I'm not trying to take away from Jaden Daniels or criticize or knock on you, James Jones. I don't think you're there yet. I think you guys made a massive step forward. You know, John was talking about this morning. they were the number 2 pick in the draft last year on merit. They didn't trade for that sucker. They sucked. They were the second worst team in the NFL. So
I think that speaks to their coaching, though.
It also speaks to Jaden, right, and what he's done.
Absolutely,
it's not easy to turn a franchise around like that. So I think they're good, but I like the Birds in this
limited.
Yeah, I like us comfortably. I mean, my score prediction wasn't too comfortable, but I might alter that a little bit. I picked 27-23 this morning, but I'm kind of feeling more of like a 27-20, 27-17 type of game.
Wow, man, I got 28-14.
For the Eagles?
Yeah. I got 28-14. If they kick care,
you got our defense shutting them down again.
Yeah, I'm all doing it. I'm doing that on the defensive side of the ball here too. So I mean, and plus I think Barkley's going to be a factor in this. All right, let me ask you here. You have been critical of Kellen Moore. Would you bring him back no matter what happens this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been critical in that I don't know. Like you said earlier, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, you were saying, like, what did he do? What did he improve? He was brought here. And I think I fall more in that category of I'm not yet sold that he has improved Jalen and the offense in a passing sense. Where, I was telling the people this morning on Birds 365, I was watching this thing on YouTube last night, which was like it's not a documentary. It's like a short little thing of just the Eagles 22 season. And if you watch the highlights of that season and kind of tell the story and highlights of that season, that was a passing football team. We had a good running game, and Jalen was very explosive in the run game, but the majority of his highlights came passing the ball. He had the 3 touchdown pass game to A.J. Brown. Remember those multiple touchdown catches that Devontae Smith had in that year. He had the big catch going up over the 2 defenders versus Washington. That's where I'm concerned on Kellen Moore. But remember, that came second year of Shane Steichen. So maybe Kellen, deserves a little bit more time to get it up, but it certainly didn't look that good, right? I mean, they're low, and I know that Saquon's made up a lot of that, but that would be my main concern. It's not a concern like fire this guy. It's more like hey, I'm not seeing it yet. How much more time do we need here?
Well, my point is that look at even the Dolphin defense this year with Vic a year ago. They're better this year than they were under Vic. That doesn't mean that Vic's not a great coordinator. It wasn't a good fit. You look at Kellen Moore here, and you make this comment, but then Bob Brown and some of the other people made a really good point, and it sold me on it. It sold me on this. Well, look at Sills. Look at Todd Monken the first year he got there when, what's his name, won the MVP, Lamar in Baltimore. He wasn't passing the ball like that. Now look at him in the second year, Xander, them together. He's going to go for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. They've improved from even on an MVP season. Now, again, they've lost 5 ball games. Okay, they've lost 5 games. But when I'm talking about individual improvement from Lamar, would we not agree Lamar's better this year than he was last year, and that was his MVP year?
That's true.
So that's Monken. So do you give Kellen Moore that same autonomy to go like this? Hey, man, okay, so the guy's 28th in passing. All right, well, I mean, that's nowhere near where you want to be when you're talking about today's NFL, because you've got to use the passing game in today's league because they want the passing game. They set the rules up for that, and you want your quarterback to improve. So you give him another year, Kellen Moore, even though this year was a little, how about this? Instead of saying it sucked, how about it was a little bit underachieving this year and what their expectations was? Because, again, being 28th in passing, there's a lot of factors in that. No question about it. But maybe next year it's better.
Yeah, and I don't think people should look at this as hate. Like, I think if you asked Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown in a room and they were in honest mode, like, they would be like, yeah, we wish we wanted it to be a little better than it was. Now, obviously, Saquon Barkley was a big part of that, but I don't think it's unfair to say that this passing game is not what they wanted it to be. Now, maybe some of it is dictated or the chances to improve it were lessened by Saquon, but yeah, I want to give Kellen a little more time, and we'll see. I mean, I think people were right? Like, because we debated this last Friday.
You wouldn't if they weren't winning.
Bring back Kellen?
Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, but it's, no, I definitely wouldn't. We debated it last week, though, and people were on my case. They're like, it's not Kellen, it's Jalen. And, like, you saw Jalen pull the trigger last week, and it looked a lot better. So
what did you hear? How about when Phil said, to your point, he agreed with you? He goes, I don't give a shit for 28th. I saw him do it. Phil said that yesterday.
yeah, I
He
know.
goes, I don't
had that
really.
ready to post, by the way, tonight. That's going out on the channel.
By the way, that was his he went like this. I said, what do you make of the fact that all year long? And he goes, I don't care. I saw it.
Yeah.
That was your point. Let me tell you something, man. Phil Simms, I value his opinion. The guy won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I mean, I value his thoughts. You know, he's got a quarterback school too that he has. And
yeah, they're good. I think Chris is good too. I know most of Philly doesn't like Chris because he had problems with Jalen Hurts in the past. But overall, I think Chris does a good job. I think both the Sims guys do a really good job.
So he's a fan of that. All right, let me throw this one at you. Do you believe that this style of football this year has taken its toll on the two wideouts this year? Where look at AJ, he was questionable a little bit this week on playing on Sunday. He's going to play. He's missed 3 games. He's been in and out of the lineup. All you're hearing earlier in the year was Nick talking about how well both these guys are blocking downfield for the run game. That's not quite what you want to hear with elite wide receivers, that you're phenomenal blockers. You know, you never hear anybody talking about Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase about being great blockers. You hear about them being great receivers. And also Devontae has been banged up pretty much of the year. Could it possibly be feasible, Xander, that this style of play, this is what AJ doesn't want to go back to? He was a blocking dummy for Derrick Henry in Tennessee, and his numbers were very pedestrian. And by the way, his numbers look like, they look like the numbers he had in Tennessee this year. 60 catches, 70 catches, somewhere around there. Do you think?
I'll tell you what, his yards per catch is insane. But go ahead.
But don't you agree that this is taking its toll, maybe physically? He's 27 years old, especially Devontae. Has it not taken its toll on these two players?
I think it could have. I don't think it's a problem because I think obviously they're both, playing at this point. But I don't think you can deny that it seems that these guys have missed more games this year than they have in previous years, right? I mean, they've each missed 3 or 4 games, I want to say this year, each of them. So somewhere in that range. It looks like it has. And honestly, it's a good point. I think, was it a chat who brought this up? Was it you? This was a good comment. I haven't thought about this at all. You think about mentally, if not getting the ball affects them, but you don't really think about the physical stuff. And they are missing games because of physical injuries. So it's a good point. I more would worry about that over the long term. If you have to do that a couple games to win in this year, it's all right, that's fine. But you don't want AJ Brown becoming a 4-year guy. You know what I mean? Where he's blocking more than he's catching passes. So, but I think right now it's good. I'm fine with it right now, but I think it is something to keep an eye on. And like I said, it's kind of proven. It's not really speculation that it's taken a toll on them.
How about this?
They've missed 4 games.
Just last night, watching Justin Herbert and him getting better coaching with Harbaugh, and watching how they're down 11, they come back and win that game. By the way, I've never seen a field goal. I haven't seen anything like that in ever. And somebody told me it was almost 50 years the last time you got a free kick like that. I've never seen that in a game. And so they end up bringing the game even closer. And it was the beginning of the Chargers comeback. But this shows you what great coaching could mean to an org. I mean, that's pretty much the same team, Xander, that they had a year ago with Brandon Staley. And this pretty much, again, now there's a lot of new components, especially on the defensive side. But look what good coaching does, man. Good coaching. They've kind of done the same thing a little bit with Justin Herbert. They've kind of taken the game with him a little bit away, not a lot. Okay, he's not nearly going to have the 590 attempts that he's had in the past. This guy's a 5,000-yard passer. He's going to come nowhere near that. But it shows you they're looking for balance in Los Angeles with him. And it shows you what good coaching, and I think that's what we're getting here a little bit in Philly. It reminded me of that on what good coaching in the NFL means. Yeah,
and he looked really good last night, didn't he, Justin Herbert? He can really throw. I don't know what he's one of those guys that I can't quite put my finger on right now. When sometimes you watch him and you're just like, this dude's insane. This dude has insane talent. He's huge. He has insane talent, escapability, mobility, throws on the run from the pocket, humongous arm. But then, they don't win that much. I mean, even this year, they're 9-6. This is his 5th year in the league. I know you're hard on Jalen, and I'm not mad at you for it. But think about if this was what Jalen's record was.
Why?
Like, this is 5 years for him. Like, at one point, you got to be able, if you're that great or if you're an elite guy or whatever you want to say, you got to string together some more wins. And I struggle with that with guys like Herbert, who are so damn talented, but it's not all there. And then you watch Jalen and you're like, I don't see that much inherent talent, but all the wins are there.
But
here's the thing that's hard to balance for me.
Here's where I'm going to push back on you here on this, okay? You say I'm hard on Jalen. I'm hard on Jalen because the components around him and what they've done around him to make him better, whereas they got rid of Mike Williams. They got rid of Keenan Allen. They got rid of Austin Eckler. They're rebuilding that offense around him. And here's another case where a quarterback has to carry his football team when you got lesser talent around him. Now, again, some will fire back at me and say, well, Sills, are you blaming Hurts for having a good team around him? No, I'm not. But your expectations have to be more in Philly.
Yeah, I think
when you have those kind of players around them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I do. Those are the type of things that were like, remember I said to you the one time, and I'm like, people keep telling us, not just you, but you'll hear on national shows or anybody, and they keep questioning Jalen. And I think some of the questions are fair. I don't think all of them are fair. I think some of them are fair. And then we turn on the game and it's like, all we do is win. This is now the third time that Jalen Hurts has had a 12-win season, or this will be the second time. But there's only one other quarterback in Eagles history to do that more than once. It's Donovan McNabb. So, like, this is the first 5 years of this guy's career, and all we do is win. Now, I get it. We do have a good roster. Howie's done a good job. I guess all those components come into play, but I think sometimes that makes it hard for us to look at it and say, oh, this is an issue,
Well, here, do you think any other good quarterback in the NFL would have the same record that you have right now if you had another guy in there other than Hurts? And I'm not just talking. How about this? Say you had a guy like Sam Darnold in there. Do you think Sam Darnold would be 12-2? He is now. With good coaching and good roster.
I think it's hard to say Sam Darnold wouldn't be 12-2 here. His team around him in Philly would be collectively better than it is in Minnesota, and he's 12-2.
It's a lot of light. They got a good back. They got a.
I don't know. What does the chat think? I'm curious. This is a good one. Like, I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold fan. To be blunt,
I wouldn't want
over Sam Darnold. I would take Jalen Hurts all day over Sam Darnold. But would Sam Darnold be 12-2? Probably.
I mean, look, well, get this. You have a generational wide receiver in Jefferson. The other kid, Addison, is pretty good. Would you not make the comparison that those two?
Yeah,
those two are compatible with what you have in Philly with A.J. Brown and Devontae Addison, and also Justin Jefferson is a freak show, dude. He is a freak show.
And Aaron Jones is good too, by the way.
He's having a 1,300 year. Now, look, they don't have the old line that Hurts has. Okay, but with Darnold, I mean, he's got Kevin O'Connell up there, and he's got a really good coaching. I really do believe that coaching. I just made the point about Harbaugh and Herbert. Look at what Herbert's doing now with Jim Harbaugh. Now you're looking at Sam Darnold. I think this is what the Jets imagined when they drafted him, that he would look like the guy in Minnesota right now. So, again, watch this, and this is where I got that topic from. Well, wait a minute. Alabama was the same team, if not better, when they replaced him and put Tua in, and they won at the same clip and even more so. Would you not have another guy come in here? Couldn't they win at the same level?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, I do think there is an element to Jalen.
Could you put Baker Mayfield in there? Could they put up the same wins?
Well, they would look so different, but I do think there's an element to Jalen's game that's hard to quantify, where he does extend drives late in games. He's one of the best fourth quarter players in the league. And when you have games that are decided by less than a touchdown or 3 points, the Eagles and Jalen Hurts' career have typically won those games where the games are within one score games. So I think there is a little bit of a factor there where, also you're late in the year, right? Do I think Sam Darnold could get to 12-2? Yeah, maybe I do. But what do you care about more, getting to 12-2 or winning the games when they count? I've seen Jalen be really good under pressure when lights are brightest. It doesn't get to him. He can play good football when those lights are the bright. I think that's valuable. Like, I don't know if Darnold has that. When the lights shine bright, what's Darnold going to look like?
Just see right here too with Chris what he's saying and what you're saying. Okay, I mean, could Darnold make plays? to get a third down, 3rd and 10 with his wheels? I don't know if
No,
he could.
but the offense would look completely different.
Okay, I mean, I can't believe what Kevin O'Connell was doing with Sam Darnold up there. All right, Sunday, do you think this is a Barkley game?
I do. I think we're giving away another jersey next week for Saquon Barkley before the holidays, which will be great to do, which we'll be giving away jerseys anyway, whether Saquon does it or not, but we'll add one to the chamber if Saquon does it. I think it is. I think he runs all over him. But also, I do want to be cautious in this game. I almost think it's a game where it's not just a Saquon. How about just a running game? You know, let's get Kenny Gainwell involved a little bit. I'd like to see him get maybe 6 to 10 carries in this game to take. I'd like to keep, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but my net right now, I want to win the game first. Second, I want to optimize for the playoffs. So what does that look like in order to win the game and prepare for that? If you have to ride Saquon to win the game, that's first priority. Yes. But if you're in a position where you can rotate him out, or you can get Kenny Gainwell some touches, or you can optimize the passing game because you're up by a couple scores, that's what I would do. First priority is win the game. Second priority for me is prepare this football team for the playoffs. And in the case of Saquon Barkley, I think that means putting him on the bench and letting him rest, letting him rejuvenate, refuel.
So that record doesn't, you're out on that. You don't care about
I'm out on it. I'm not going to be mad if he's not yet. If he wants to run like a madman and try and get there, I think that's great. But I'm personally out on it where I'm not looking for them to do it. It would be cool. I'm not going to say it wouldn't be cool, but that's not my priority. I mean, I think this team shouldn't really care about anything like that, especially with what happened last year. You know, you got to be ready for the playoffs, man. Let's get ready for the fucking playoffs. That's when that's when our money's made at this point. That's what Eagle fans want. Look, we got how many Eagle fans we got in the chat right now? Running award sounds great. We all want to win in the playoffs. We all want to parade down Broad Street. We all want to fucking give each other hugs and say, woo, JAKIB Nation, go, parade, Philly, Eagles, winners, Super Bowl champs. That's what we want. So I'm optimizing for that, Big Sills.
How about Vic Fangio's connecting with the younger players?
Impressive.
And I'll say this I'll tell you what, this is one of Nick Sirianni's best press conferences. I loved how he answered the A.J. Brown injury. Hey, you know what? We'll see what happens later today. Did he get hurt in practice? We'll see what happens later on today.
The reporters hate that, but you're right.
That would mean it's so Belichickian. He just absolutely just was not going to give them. Oh, we'll see what happens. You know what?
Yeah.
How the day plays out. That was so well done. And I think there's no question, Xander, that what has happened with Vic this year, hey man, success breeds confidence.
Yeah.
If I'm getting better as a player, my coach is helping me get better as a player, and you see your production. Like if you're Nakobe Dean, you think that Vic Fangio right now walks and has an altar, and you think his word is gospel because that guy has made you better than anything you've ever had. And so what you've been as a pro. Same thing with Zach Bond. Dude, I'll tell you something about Zach Bond. If I'm him, do I want to change churches? Do
Bryce
I want to
Huff got
get
ruled out, by the way? Go ahead.
What's that?
Bryce Huff got ruled out for the game.
If I'm going to change my religion known as the Vic Fangio religion, and I'm going to go to another church next year, am I sure I'm going to be accepted into that thing the same way that I am right now? So again, hey, honey, I think we're going to take a $4.5 million pay cut here so that I can stick with this guy because you know why? I'd rather make 20 than get blown out and have Bryce. Would you here? Bryce Huff was in a great look. Here's Bryce Huff. Look at Bryce Huff's situation. Bryce Huff was in a great situation with the Jets. Was he not?
And it's now not good.
Now they're looking to get out of the contract.
He'll probably never get another big contract.
He'll probably never fulfill this one.
I know, but I mean, he'll be a journeyman for the rest of his career. You know?
Yes. And so you do this now. You go, man, would I rather be here and make 20, or would I rather be in another place where I'm on a shitty team like the Cowboys and the Cowboys get run all over and then I look shitty and then all of a sudden people are questioning my contract? I mean, you're questioning Bryce Huff's contract.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, if you're Zach Bond, I mean, look, if I'm going to Pittsburgh, that's one thing. If I'm going to Green Bay, if that's another thing, you know, but Yeah, I think you got to balance. At 27 years of age, I'm going to balance that. I'm going to balance that.
I agree. You want to do? I got something I want to ask you. All right, it's a holiday. It's like I got a couple holiday question type fun things for the Eagles. If you want to do them with me,
Good. So do it.
Let's do. You want to do the super? Let's do this. Let's read this.
Do the supers.
Terry,
thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it, man. For the coach, Big Z and Big Sills, I appreciate when people help out the people in need, especially the veterans. Really pisses me off that the government doesn't do more for them. Grandpas and my dad and brother all serve. Terry, man, that's awesome.
Hey, Terry, let me tell you something. And I'm not going to try to make a political statement here or anything, but I will say this. I don't give a shit about that war in Ukraine. I care about my veterans here and the homeless here in America and what Krauss and the coach do by putting warm coats on kids and shit. That's the stuff, man. Take care of your own before you take care of others, man. And that's something our country just does not do enough of. And even the elderly, too, here in our country. Take care of the elderly. Take care of our veterans. Take care of the homeless. And this is what people in this country should be focused on more so than something halfway around the world. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I care more about what's going on here, especially with our veterans.
100%. And tomorrow we have Wait, Terry, that's really cool of you to send. We got an event tomorrow, Sills, down at the Veterans Home in Philadelphia, in the city of Philadelphia. So I'll be down there tomorrow. We collected 1,000 coats yesterday for Birds 365, or for Krause's coats, and we will do so listen to this, Sills. And this is how I grew up. This was my childhood. But my dad has done this now, just 21 years, 380,000 coats later. He does. So he'll have 300 veterans tomorrow that are all less fortunate that we will give a coat to. But Sills, this isn't a pile of coats where they come and they say, hey, take your pick. Every single veteran is met with, is sized. The coat is brand new, folded, delivered with dignity and pride to our veterans. And I take it makes me emotional because it's just such a good example. But I love it's not just like this thing where you get as many as we can and give them all out.
Wait a minute.
There's so much care going.
I thought you Krauses were scumbags. Hang on here. I
don't say it for that. I don't say it for that.
No.
I don't care about these. I don't care about those accusations.
You know what I mean.
I say it though because look, if you're in Philly and you want to get in touch and help, please do. Get in touch with me. Message me on Instagram. Make a comment on YouTube. Whatever it is, if you're in Philly, you have new or used coats, slightly warm. We don't like to give away junk, but if you got one, let me know, man, and I'd love to do it.
That's
but
awesome.
There's a lot of pride that goes into it. So
absolutely, man.
Appreciate that,
we
Terry.
talked about it last night with your pop down at Screwballs. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were on the show last night. Excellent. Yeah, really cool of them. Eric says Sill's got a little cannoli. I don't know what that means. A little weird comment, my dude. And Sean said, Hurts going to outplay Daniels. Just watch.
He did last time.
Go Tigers. Fuck Clemson. Theo. Yeah, he took a shot at both of us in one super chat the other day. He's like, thank you. What did he say? Thank you, who, for beating Miami so that Clemson could knock Alabama out. I'm like, you got two birds with one stone, man. Miami and Bama tripped us.
What a jackass.
All right, there we go. All right, you ready for my holiday question? I got a couple of them, but I don't want to.
Before you get to the holiday question, I want to show you something here.
Okay, go for it.
So I looked down at these numbers, and the last couple of weeks, this guy Jordan Love has been playing great. I want to show you something here, Xander. Brett Favre played 16 years in Green Bay. Rodgers played 18 years. Love's played 2. That 97% of the snaps have been with those three guys. They're 324 and 181 and 1 in Green Bay with those three players. You talk about getting a quarterback position right. Dude, Love's the right guy. He's going to play another. You're going to basically have 30. They have 36 years right now with three dudes. You're going to have almost 50 years with three players playing quarterback in one place.
That's insane. John's been talking about how good that organization is. I mean, he used to joke. He would say that Packers fans don't understand how the rest of the NFL lives. Because they've had Hall of Fame quarterback play for 30 plus years now, and looks like they got another one, right? I'm not going to say he's Hall of Fame yet, but he's pretty damn good. So it is insane, man. Most other teams are bouncing between quarterbacks. Cleveland's had 20, 30 quarterbacks. It's crazy, man. What they've been able to do. And It's impressive. It's impressive. You got to give him credit. And they're a good team. By the way, Jordan Love, he's one of those guys I think I don't really want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, he's the dude that made Dallas look like a pumpkin last year. Yeah.
He's playing better right now. Matt LaFleur is a hell of a coordinator. And I do agree down here with Philly D. 2 Super Bowls, that's a little underachieving, but
it is.
Okay, 2 Super Bowls is not enough for that. I agree. No question about it here. All right. Your holiday questions.
All right, ready?
Yes.
All right, so I got a couple. Maybe we can do some next week too. I just want to have a little fun. Gift the legend. All right, everybody in the chat, I need you guys to put yours in too. If you could pick any Eagles legend, and I'm going to rule out Reggie White because he's going to be so obvious as the answer for every single person. Any Eagles legend to help this team in this year's playoffs, who would it be?
It's a great question. If I'm going to pick one guy, you're right. You took the one guy.
Yeah, it's Reggie. It's so easily Reggie.
You took the one guy. I'll tell you this.
I'm awake. That's mine. I'm awake. Got mine. That's who I'm going.
I'm going to do Devon's. I'm going to say Trent Cole.
Okay. That's a great one too.
I'm going to say Trent Cole. Trent Cole or Javon Curse? Who would I? Probably Trent Cole. I'll take Trent Cole.
Trent Cole, excellent player.
Damn, that's a good one too, Zach Ertz.
Good question, right?
Yeah, real good. Real good.
Jerome Brown, that would be great. I was watching, somebody sent me a great clip to show you. I forget who it was. Somebody sent it on my X. So if you're listening, thanks for sending that to me. I will send it to Sills. And they said, show this to Sileo, and it's just a sick cut of Jerome Brown and his time in Philly. That's an interesting one. Underdog is Randall. This team with Randall.
Randall with this.
Yo, Mitchell and Ness just dropped that sick hat, that Randall Cunningham hat, man. I might drive down to the city tomorrow and get that.
Hey, Xander, Randall Cunningham in this offense would look like Patrick Mahomes. He was so, he played like Gumby. He contorted his body. He was fast. He was athletic. Clyde Simmons.
That's a good one.
Shit. Putting him at the edge on the other side of Josh Sweat would be absolutely great. Yeah. By the way,
says if he can't take Reggie, he'll take Cole as well.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yep. But
I'm going Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins.
Or how about this one? Would you want to have Mike Mamola? Nice go. Way to go, David. How about would you want Andre Waters back there playing safety for you?
Andre would be good too. I'm going to go Dawkins because I know I watch Dawkins. So
Dawkins is way better than Andre. Okay, he is. But Andre was a little, I don't know. No, Dawkins was very intimidating too. He was very intimidating. Okay. I would. How about Nick Foles? Would you take Nick Foles playoffs or would you take Jalen Hurts playoffs?
No.
For the playoffs.
I'm not taking Nick Foles over Jalen Hurts. Stop.
In the playoffs?
I don't.
He's 4-2 in the playoffs.
I know, but
he's a Super Bowl MVP.
Nick is the most up and down motherfucker, man. He is a hard guy to talk about because you love him because he won.
He's weirdest career of all time. You look at him and you go, 26 touchdowns, 2 picks. Wait a minute. He's got like the highest percentage of all time in the playoffs when it comes to completions in a row. And he's 4-2 and he's won a Super Bowl and he's got a Super Bowl MVP. And by the way, Alshon Jeffries hosed him out of another NFC championship game.
Right.
I don't know, man. I probably would take Foles over Hurts in the playoffs. You really think Jalen has been great in the playoffs, but for one game? Nick was awesome in the Super Bowl.
He didn't have to do much. I mean, fair, to be honest. I mean, look, he was good, but he didn't. We beat the Giants and we beat the knocked out Brock Purdy-led Niners on the road to the Super Bowl. But he was insane in the Super Bowl. I think that earns you some extra points.
Let me give you one more. Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, that's a good one. But I'm not going there because we're already having a little bit of a hard time working all of our receivers in.
Yeah, but you put that guy on special teams too, man. He'd take one to the house and hit his head on the goalpost.
See, we should have included coaches too. because that's a great one.
Putting Andy in there. I disagree with Angelo, man. I'm an Andy Reid guy.
Oh, Angelo is crazy about Andy.
I'm an Andy Reid guy, man. I like him. I do.
All right. If Santa can guarantee one team gets knocked out of the NFC playoffs, who are you choosing?
Detroit.
Really? That depleted defense? That Brian Flores-led Vikings don't scare you a little more? Or even the Bucks? Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them for me. I don't want to have to see them.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll take it back. How about Green Bay?
Green Bay's a good one. I'm telling this was a good one because I'm like, I could go multiple teams here.
I'll go Green Bay. I'll take Green Bay now.
Green Bay your final?
What's that?
Green Bay's going to be your final?
Yeah, Green Bay's my final. If I had to pick a team, because I think they're more complete around than any of the teams, and they got the better. Watch this. Who's the better boy, Golf or Love? Oof. I don't see. I'm with you on Darnold, dude. I don't care how you're 12-2 you are, 35 touchdowns. I get it. I know you've played well here, but really, how are you gonna see Ghost in the playoffs like you saw Ghost in New York with the Jets? I mean, come on here, dog. I mean, really? So it's between Love and Golf, but I'm gonna go Green Bay, man. I think Green Bay I'll take Green Bay. Green Bay.
I might go Bucks. I might just go Bucks. Say, Santa, just take care of that fucking team for me. I can't handle them. I can't knock them. They're like kryptonite. Just get rid of them. I might do them. I don't know. Detroit's still a good one because they're a juggernaut. So it's like you don't really know what you're going to get, especially with that defense beat up, but that offense is still pretty nasty. I don't know. I thought that was a good one too. Let's see what people in the chat are saying. Bucks, Lions, Spin Bad still says fuck the Lions. Green Bay, 8 teams going Green Bay. Yeah, I'm with you, Flex. Packers are getting good, man. Packers are getting good. Keith Jackson, M. Kip said to the first
man, Keith Jackson had tied in. How about this one here, Hey, how about this one, 41? How about Keith Byers?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Keith
Orlando
Byers
says McNabb.
Oh, man, McNabb. You heard what Marcus Hayes said. He's the best quarterback in Eagle.
It's not even relatively close. McNabb had 1 year of throwing to T.O. Like, imagine, I don't know. I wasn't like the biggest McNabb guy, but it would be pretty crazy to see him if he had this roster.
Yeah. No. I'm with you.
McNabb did a lot to change the game.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah.
Here. I want to show you this one here. You got another here. Look at this. Here's the tiebreakers. Head to head, if it applies. Best won-loss tied percentage in common games. Strength of victory in all games. I don't know how you determine that. Got to be record. Best combination of ranking among all teams with points scored and points allowed. Net points, net TDs. And then the last one is coin toss. So right now, head to head, it doesn't apply to Minnesota and Detroit.
Right.
Okay. So then you obviously go to second. Best won-loss tied in common games. I don't know how they determine that one there. Green Bay's got to be involved because both the North play, the 3 teams, the Eagles.
Right. But all those other teams have beaten up on Green Bay too. Detroit beat Green Bay and so did Minnesota.
Yep. Who other teams? The North.
I think who I think's going to hurt us? The South, that we lost to the South.
Well,
who beat the Bucks this year and who beat the Falcons this year?
That's right. You're dead on. The South losses. That's right. You lost to 2 teams in the NFC South. And both those teams right now, well, Atlanta's now, but then again, dude, Atlanta's 7-7 and the Bucks are 8-6. They're not losing teams. It's not.
You know who's still fighting too, who has a chance for the playoffs in the AFC?
Bengals.
The Bengals. They're not out yet. I couldn't believe that.
Remember what Philly Godfather said last week? If they win out, they make it and qualify, especially after Denver lost last night. Since Denver lost last night, that opens the door.
Right.
If they run the table.
Right. They needed Denver to lose. That was big that Denver lost that game last night.
Yep. Especially for Cincinnati. Absolutely. Good stuff, dog. Good stuff, man. So you got them winning big this weekend.
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I think this Commanders team is a solid team. I don't want to disrespect them. I think you come in ready to play, and I just think we're playing better football right now, and I feel like we're in a mode where we're just kind of mowing down whoever's in front of us. It doesn't really matter what they play like, what their strengths or weaknesses are. We out physical them, and we're a better football team than them. So I think that's where we're at right now, and I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to stop that.
Let me give you a Christmas one.
All right, I like it.
If you were going to wear one jersey Sunday of a current Eagle,
Current
Eagle, what current Eagles jersey would you wear? They have a Christmas present given to you.
All right.
What current?
I'm admittedly not a jersey guy. I have jerseys. I like Eagle.
I hang them. I hang them up.
Right. That's more me. I know jerseys are big. If I had to go one Eagle right now to wear the jersey, I might fucking go big country. Fucking Landon Dickerson. I might go big country, Alabama.
Alabama, that's right. I gotta tell you.
No, I like it's Landon probably. It's probably Brandon Graham, if I'm being honest. I love Brandon Graham. And it's probably maybe one of the rooks. Maybe Cooper Quignon. Maybe one of the rooks. I like jerseys. I don't like jerseys of guys. Like, I wouldn't go Bond because it's like, I don't know how long he's going to be around. Like, I like jerseys of people. That's why I like a Brandon Graham jersey right now. Because that jersey is going to have meaning forever. That Jerome Brown jersey sitting over there, the person that wins that jersey, that's a jersey that's going to be relevant forever.
Shit, you see Philly 500 wears it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
Like the Saquon jerseys, they're great. But if he has 2 years here, yeah, I don't know. People, he might fade into irrelevancy a little bit if we win a Super Bowl, it becomes immediately one of those jerseys. But
if I want a jersey to hang on my wall with the rest of my jerseys that people have gifted me, it'd be Lane.
I knew you were going to go Lane.
It would be Lane because he's
got a legend.
What?
You want a legend? You want a Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
You want
I wouldn't mind him a lot of one. Okay. But see, I like guys that are going to be remembered by Eagle fans that are in their 20s or in their 60s. Those are the guys that you want gear from and about, in my opinion. I would take Lane. I'd want a Lane Johnson. And then I would ask his ass to sign for me too. I'd get Lane. I don't really do that a lot. People send them to me, and I get a lot of people that have sent me a ton of shit. I mean, look at this, man. Dick Allen sent me this ball, and he was just inducted into the baseball.
Yeah, that's all. I saw you post that. That's excellent.
Yeah, Dick Allen, who's a Philadelphia legend from Walpole, Pennsylvania, he sent me this baseball before he passed away. And I'm a gigantic Dick Allen fan. I mean, you know what? Hey, Xander, you know why I'm a Dick Allen fan? Because Philadelphia fans had a love-hate relationship with him. He was a little bit of a dick. Yeah. And I mean, we kind of have a little bit, maybe I should get an A.J. Brown jersey because we're kind of alike in a way. Okay.
You guys are the same person. That's why you're literally so much alike, you two.
Okay, get this. Eagles have the best defense in the NFL. This is John Clark. In the NFL, never giving up under 14 points a game during their 10-game win streak, fewest in the NFL. Brian Dawkins believes Vic Fangio has transformed the defense, technique, and teaching technique, swarming to the ball, and has made them, without a doubt, understand their assignments better than anybody he's seen in recent memory. That's quite a compliment from Brian Dawkins, is that he's teaching the fundamentals of the kid and why these guys are playing ball. Xander, great stuff, my brother. How you feeling, man?
I feel great, honestly.
Yeah? We got a lot of hits yesterday over our TIFF.
What's that?
We got a lot of hits yesterday over our TIFF.
Did we? Yeah, we got some extra TIFFs. We got some extra hits.
Hey,
I saw the
folks,
people
don't be
talking
thinking
about
that.
it.
Get this. Don't be thinking that's not going to happen again because brothers fight.
Yeah, no, it'll happen.
Especially if that guy goes back into being Spider Rico on Sunday.
Oh God, please don't. Please don't throw that rock, Jalen. Get rid of that thing, man. When,
You
well, I
better
tell you what,
buckle
though.
up.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. When he throws the ball with confidence, he's a different quarterback.
Brady said
I
it.
was telling you, turn on Sills, humor me. Go and watch 5 minutes of 22 Jalen Hurts highlights this weekend.
Okay.
That dude, it's not about the talent. It's not about the arm talent. It's not about the accuracy. When he was dropping back and letting that thing fly, you could feel it through the screen that he knew or felt that that ball was going to be completed every time he let it go. And he threw it like that. Earlier in this year, I feel like it was the complete opposite, where there was hesitation, there was questions, there was not a lot of confidence. When he and last week, it looked the same again. Look confident. Let that thing fly, Jalen. You got it, man. You're accurate enough. You'll get it there. Let that fucking thing fly.
I think we got a couple super chats before you get out of here because I think my boy Brian Pumper sent me another.
Oh yeah, Sileo won't miss a pump.
No, ever, man.
He says Xander don't want to disrespect the commies, but they players are saying the Eagles are cheeks. Jalen Hurts led team, by the way.
Hey, Pumper, I'm not a fan of that. They're talking shit on the Eagles. That I would not. I'm not a fan of that, man. I mean, hey, I'll talk shit on them after. I don't know about talking shit on them before because, man, I don't know.
Bold.
They put the wood to you.
That was bold.
Yes, yeah. We're better than them. Come on.
Yo,
man.
Pump, it's good you changed your name back. He added Jalenite. I'm like, you can't, you're famous on this YouTube chat, dude. Mikey Shreds checks in. What up, Shreds? Prime Vic.
Prime Vic. He is. He's really, really just done a great job this year. No doubt about it.
Dio says 2020s Reed, yes. 2000s Reed, no. Fair.
Huh. Okay, because he wasn't a very good time management guy back in the day. True statement.
A lot of that is made up for by having Patrick Mahomes. But
yes.
Howard says I would bring back Andy. We read that. Dio said best present ever. Syracuse beating Miami, so Clemson could win the ACC and knock Bama out of first ever 12 college playoffs. Fucking Dio. Dio's
I
a
know,
legend.
Jalen.
I'm not going to shit on him, but Dio.
Okay,
fuck
Jalen.
you, Dio.
I got you, Jalen. Okay.
Dio, I love you, but fuck you, Dio. A-Team says, what uniform of Eagles is your favorite? Mine's all black with midnight green helmet, specifically when the Eagles first put it out in McNabb era. That's a good one. I like
Kelly's. I like the Kellys.
I like Kelly's too. You know what ones I really liked that I never have had a chance to see?
The white ones?
The white Kellys that Jerome, like
never
in Jerome's
in the
era.
Jeffrey Lurie era ever won the white ones.
They gotta bring those are sick, dude. The white with the Kelly logo with the Kelly green letters.
Those were from the 60s.
Yep, I like them a lot. Let me make sure I got all the other supers.
Brian just sent a new one in.
I got him here. Speaking of Jordan, he quit rugby just to head the NFL and play rugby with Jalen Hurts. Make it make sense.
I'll make it make sense. $25 million a year.
Yeah, there you go.
Xander, great stuff, my friend.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll catch you on Sunday pregame. Big game this weekend, everybody. Let's get the W. Appreciate you, Sills.
Please hit the like button there. We'll catch Xander on Sunday, halftime and the post game. Jason Cole is right around the corner. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Guys, don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends. There is a ton of football. There's actually a playoff game with college football between IU and Notre Dame today, and that is going to lead into Saturday. There's NFL football Saturday and Sunday with our friends at BetUS. Make sure you check them out for the YouTube 150. That's right, the YouTube 150, a sign-in bonus all the way up to $2K. Second and third are 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We're going to talk with Jason Cole here in a second here. Don't forget, Philly Godfather will join us in a second. And before I get Jason Cole on, because people were like saying that Big Sales doesn't get credentials, here's Super Bowl. I forget what Super Bowl this one is. Here's one of my Super Bowl on-field credentials. Hold on here. Here is my Army-Navy. Here is a Pacquiao Mayweather fight. Here is my Charger press credential. Here is another Charger press credential. Oh, here's another Super Bowl press credential. Do you know how many times? Do you know how many Super Bowls I've been to? I don't know if I've been to as many as Jason, but here's an All-Star game that I went to, a Major League Baseball All-Star game. And I mean, I must have been to at least 20 Super Bowls, 15 Super Bowls in my time. That's a great question. I've never asked Jason Cole that. How many Super Bowls he's been to? Hall of Fame voter. Let's get his takeaways. Some big games this weekend. Jace, how many Super Bowls have you been to?
I'm trying to remember. I covered the 84 game, and then I didn't regularly cover the NFL until 92.
You were at the Palo Alto game?
Yeah, I was at the game at Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of, foggy. Dolphins, 49ers. 49ers kind of dominated, not kind of dominated that game. And so, I don't know, 35, something like that.
Wow. Wow. What's the most significant one you've ever been to? Like, what? How about this? Not significant. What's the one you walked away with that? See, for me, I'll tell you, I was at the one where Elway did the helicopter. I think that was in San Diego.
That's the one I'm talking. I would name first because, and it's a little bit more personal since I'm a Elway fan and wrote a book about him. I would say that the Seattle New England one was pretty amazing. Obviously, the New England Atlanta one is really amazing. I'm trying to think of the Buffalo ones were terrible. That I did because I didn't go to the Norwood game. Yeah, those are the ones.
How about the Doug Williams one in San Diego when
I wasn't covering the league then.
Okay,
for my time. I mean, I watched it. They overwhelmed Denver. They just crushed them, and Doug Williams put on a show. But I was not covering the league at that point.
My favorite one was that Green Bay Denver one, and I was there for it. I'm sitting in the press box. I'm watching this, and you kind of felt, and everyone in the box, didn't you know too, Jason, that this was, if Elway wins it, he's done. I thought I had a feeling he would walk away, but then again, I remember his press conference when the only reason he didn't continue was because he said his body couldn't continue.
No, well, but that's not his last season. That's the second to last season.
Oh, that's the second to last. Okay.
His next one was the game against Atlanta in the rain.
Yep.
In Miami was that one. I would say the one that was memorable. It wasn't a great game. So Carolina against Denver was memorable, and it's because watching Peyton get to the finish line one last time.
Yeah.
And I should say also the David Tyree game is amazing. The other one where Manningham makes the catch against New England, that's a pretty amazing game too. The first Super Bowl for Brady against the Rams, Ty Law should have been the MVP of that game. But that be that as it may, but I would say that it was kind of sweet because I remember thinking to myself, I was at Peyton Manning's very first game as a rookie. It was Indianapolis hosted the Dolphins. His rookie game, his very first game, and then I saw his very last game. And I saw so much of his career, and I was like, this is kind of cool to have been at both events to see the bookends of his career.
I got to tell you, my first Super Bowl I ever went to was Kevin Fagan for the Niners, and of course the game was in Miami. It was Montana's. I think, was that Joe's last Super Bowl when they played? Oh no, it was Walsh's last Super Bowl when they played Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, and I got sideline tickets because it was then at Joe Robbie, it was called then, and I got sideline passes, and I'm watching that, and I see Fagan. I was on the 49ers sideline because they were going against, and that was a great game. Montana had the drive to sit there, and I got to tell you, I'm going to say that one probably is the most significant because when you're on the sideline watching Joe Montana operate, I mean, this guy is like a surgeon. They got a 10-yard penalty, and they had to go 90. People think they went 80. They went 90 because he got a legal procedure, and then with seconds left, they hit Taylor in the back of the end zone. And if you look close to the left, I'm standing over there, and I can't believe Taylor catches that pass in the end zone. Rice was the MVP in that game. That was one of the greatest football games I ever saw. In person was that football game.
Bussey who dropped the interception.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an amazing. I mean, look, that's an amazing game. There's a lot of them that are really truly amazing. But I for the sake of being a fan, Elway against Green Bay because they were such underdog game. And they had just clawed their way to that game against, by beating Marty Schottenheimer in Kansas City.
Didn't the Packers win the Super Bowl the year before too? Weren't they going for two in a row?
They dusted New England in that Super Bowl because that was the Super Bowl that the Broncos really should have been in because they had been so dominant, but then they blew the game to Jacksonville.
Yep.
Jacksonville goes to New England, loses in the cold. New England goes to that game with Parcells. Parcells is working on his contract with the Jets the whole week that he's supposed to be coaching the game. And then, the Packers pretty much just, they were better. The Packers were decidedly better than the Patriots. That was a substandard. That's sort of like the year that Miami missed their chance to go in '85 when they lost in the playoffs to the Patriots, and the Patriots eventually ended up in the Super Bowl that year against Chicago. And Chicago
that was Tony Eason, right? The Tony Eason Patriots.
Yeah, Tony Eason. The way that the teams matched up, the Dolphins-Bears game, obviously they played during the regular season. That was the only loss for the Bears. That would have been a fair fight. Patriots against the Bears was not a fair fight. I mean, I think they broke Tony Eason in that game.
They surely did. They beat the hell out of him. The only significant thing out of that game that came was, well, the Eagles will end up getting Buddy Ryan after that ball game, and Walter Payton didn't score a touchdown in that game, and the fridge did. That was the only storylines really outside of them killing and putting away the Patriots, right? I mean, they dominated from front to end.
It was so ugly. So ugly.
It was. All right, you know what? You know this. The NFL is a week-to-week proposition, so I'm going to ask you the question I asked you last week. But because of significant injuries to teams here, Eagles, Vikings, Lions, best team in the NFC is?
Eagles, Vikings, Lions, Eagles.
Packers maybe too, if you want to throw them in there.
A little bit. I mean, Eagles, none of them is so overwhelming, though, that you say, again, it's week to week.
Right.
It's all right, we'll see what happens. I just think the Eagles are more consistent because they do run the ball well enough. And the weapons on the outside, nobody has a better supporting cast. I mean, Detroit's close when they're healthy, but they're not there right now. I would put the combination of Devontae Smith and AJ Brown above the combination of Amon St. Brown and Williams, and even if you throw in Patrick, and then Goddard versus the tight end. That Laporta, is close enough. Got a player, but they don't, as good as Jahmyr Gibbs is, he's not Saquon. And the offensive lines are pretty close. Hurts, when it comes down to Hurts versus Goff, which one do you trust more? That's a tough question. I'm not sure I trust either one of those guys in real high pressure situations. And they both lost the Super Bowl, so they've been there. But I've never seen enough consistency out of either guy to say I clearly believe in this guy more than the other guy.
How about this too, Jace? I would say if Philadelphia gets home field, that they'd be more apt to be favored to get, and not only because of home field, but I think you're built better for winter months for what you just said, because teams don't really perform well once they have to leave the friendly confines of those domes. There's only been 3 teams win a Super Bowl that have been dome teams, and they would have to go to Philadelphia if they end up making the NFC title game. They would have to play outdoors in Philly in January, late January, and you'd have to be able to run the ball. Not that both those teams can't run the ball, because there's obviously Detroit and Minnesota, Aaron Jones has had a nice season as well, but again, I think that dome factor plays into it. And if you have to go to Philly, that's a tougher putt than, say, Philly having to go to Detroit or Minnesota, for that matter, if it plays out that way, that they'd be more set up to go either way.
Yeah, I would say, look, the home field favors Philly a lot, especially if it's an extremely cold day. Jared Goff, I mean, he's a small-handed guy. He's had trouble throwing in bad weather before. You go with that. Sam Darnold, probably a little bit better condition to throw, to play in bad weather, but that team has not been conditioned to do that. So yeah, I think that's a natural advantage, and so Eagles really got to push for it. I'll also say that anybody in front of the Eagles crowd, when the Eagles crowd is intimidating. They're the last probably really intimidating crowd in the NFL. Most of them are cartoonish, and even the Eagles are starting to get to the point where it's a little bit cartoonish. It's not like it was during the 70s and 80s and even the 90s. But it's intimidating. I mean, they're into it, and they're right on top of you in that stadium. The noise is crazy. Coaches talked about how much they hate driving through the Philly crowd on the way into the lot. Like how rude it is. Like it's really, really bad for them. So there's a little bit of that. That's a little old school. I like that.
So you're saying they need a jail up there in the upper deck like they had over at the Vet to make it kind of like feel homey again, like back in the day, right?
I am not casting aspersion on the good people of Philadelphia in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying they like to make it a little intimidating.
How about this one here? Barkley, does it have to be 2105 for him to even be in the conversation to win the Most Valuable Player award? I mean, right now he's an outlier between Lamar, Goff, and obviously Josh Allen. But if he does get to 2105, I mean, he's right there. I mean, he's almost at 1,700 yards now with 4 to go, counting on Sunday. I mean, he's right there, Jace. I mean, I don't know if he gets it. I doubt it. But I do think they're going to have to play 17 weeks.
21. Yeah, I would say 2105 is important. I agree. 2105 is important for an MVP discussion to set that kind of record. I have no doubt about that. But it's going to be hard to overcome what Josh Allen's done here the last few weeks. Like some of the throws that he's playing at a ridiculous level. And so is Barkley. Don't
10
get me wrong.
touchdowns.
But quarterbacks just automatically.
Hey, Jake's 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. I mean,
he's stupid good. He's stupid good. Like, I mean, and the off balance throw as you're fading, as you're rolling to the right, that he throws for a 64-yarder, against Detroit. Like that's just stupid good kind of stuff, right? Like, and that's why, like, I think that the match between those teams would be more of a fair fight if it was Detroit and Buffalo, because I can't imagine anybody doing that twice. But the fact that he did it once was just ridiculous. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And even in the loss to the Rams on the Monday night before,
I know
5 touchdowns. He kept him by himself.
He totally is, man. There's no question about it. Does Green Bay? Tell me how you feel about. I'll tell you. You want to hear it, Jason? I got to throw this stat at you here, and I threw this out earlier, and I want to give you this. Check it out. Brett Favre, 16 years. Aaron Rodgers, 18. Jordan Love, 2. That's 36 years. Record of 324, 181, and 1. Over those 36 years. Looks like Love, who's playing great. Let's just say they get 10 years. You're talking almost 50 years of 3 guys having 97% of the snaps. When you look at places like the Jets, Cleveland, who can't get that position right to save their life, and Green Bay does things like that for almost 50 years. I mean, Jason, it's quite a thing to see what they've done. I mean, I know, look, Montana and Young, that was a great run. You rarely get back-to-back, let alone 3. That's pretty remarkable on what, Mike Holmgren, Mike McCarthy, and now Matt LaFleur are doing up there. It's really a culture.
You forgot about Mike Sherman.
Mike Sherman, too, is in there. That's right.
Yeah. It is an amazing transition that you'd be able to have 3 straight franchise quarterbacks not have to worry about the position. Because I watched what the Dolphins went through after Marino retired. And and still in a sense are going through. Tua has been the best of the lot, and and actually a permanent starter for long enough. But to do this, like, this is being really spoiled. And I'll also say this, like, when you consider that they went from Lynn Dickey was was there.
I played against Lynn.
After Bart Starr, right? Like they go from Bart Starr to Lynn Dickey, who's a pretty good player.
Don't forget Don Mikowski.
I know, but they had Mikowski and Dillwig and some guys who couldn't play, but it was a pretty short time.
Yes,
like they've had guys who can play the position for over 60 years, pretty much, like except for about a 5, maybe 6 year period of time where, Mikowski was there. And again, Dillwig and some other guys.
It went Starr and then Dickey, and then there was a 5-year gap in there. And then all of a sudden they got far from Atlanta, and that's when it kicked off. They've been pretty good since the late 60s.
Yeah. I mean, they've had it at the very least competent, if not, 3 of those guys are Hall of Famers. Between, Rodgers is going to be a Hall of Famer. Favre and Starr are there. Dickey was a really good quarterback for his period of time. We'll see where Love goes from here, but that's been pretty spoiled when most teams are just struggling. I mean, like I look at the Raiders right now and how far behind they are in that division at quarterback, or you look at the Jets and that whole nightmare situation. I mean, that's a joke. The whole Jets, that story that came out on The Athletic just ripped them a new one. Yeah, that was rough.
Is Woody Johnson that incompetent as an owner? Is he really that bad where he is, making decisions based allegedly off of Madden games and not making trades for Jerry Jeudy? And you hear that they wanted to bench Rodgers and then the firing of Saleh early in the season. Is he really
the moves speak for themselves. The results speak for themselves, don't they, Dan?
Yeah, yes.
You're at a point where, you're just. This is a league that you have to try hard not to make the playoffs in this league. You have to work at it. On a consistent basis. This is a parity-driven league. They make it so that you should be able to get there. And they can't figure it out. This is on him. And yeah, I believe the Madden stuff. I believe that he allows his teenage kids and their girlfriends to hang around and badmouth players. And because let's just say this, Woody Johnson is a guy, and he's not necessarily evil, but he's one of these guys, he's never really done anything in his life. Okay, to make that money. He didn't.
He inherited the Band-Aid company. He did. I got it.
Well, they're a lot bigger than just Band-Aids, pal. They're a lot. Right. Yeah, the Band-Aids are enough, but Johnson & Johnson does a lot of other stuff,
By the way, it's one of the greatest management development companies on the planet on developing corporate managers and CEOs for other companies. It's a legendary company, which makes it even more difficult.
Which is what and think about it this. It's a legendary company. Woody's never had to work a day in that company. Do you wonder why they didn't allow him to go work there?
Hey, what I don't get is how do they develop all these corporate CEOs for other companies like PepsiCo and places, and you can't develop a coach? Do you know this about the Jets? The Jets have had one winning coach in the entire history of the franchise, and it's Parcells. No, it's Parcells. Weeb's got a losing record too.
I think Weeb has a winning record.
Not as a Jet. Only one guy. Parcells, I looked it up. But Al Groh coached 1 year. He was 9-7. So if you want to go there, it's Al Groh. And who is Parcells' disciple, by the way? He was on that giant coaching staff back in the day, Romeo Cornell and them. But only in the entire history, they got Bill Parcells and even Weeb. Now, Weeb may have an overall above 500 record because of Baltimore. He was awesome in Baltimore when he was the head coach.
I thought Weeb was above 500 with the Jets. I'd have to double check right now, but probably not, because they, he had to take him over from year 3 or something like that. And
yeah, no, Hess owned the team and he stunk. Hess was another shitty owner. Hess was Hess was a good owner in one way. He left those guys alone. Okay.
And he let the guys, now he picked the wrong guys, but he didn't. There's a difference between picking wrong guys and interfering. When you pick the wrong guys, usually you get it right somewhere along the line, and we've got it right. I mean, Hess got it right a couple of times. Aside from Rex Ryan in 25 years, Woody's never gotten it right. Never gotten it right. And he's made a fool of himself in the process by bringing scorn upon his team. I mean, guys are going to read that stuff and go, I want, the money better be great because I don't really want to play for those guys. I mean, it's a bad deal. And I know that it's partly because, having talked to Woody enough times, he feels like he's smarter than he is. And he feels like he knows this stuff, and he's the one who's the answer. I mean, he's an incredibly arrogant guy for a guy who really hasn't done that much other than take the money he had. And granted, he bought an asset and it's worth a whole lot more money. He built that facility in Florham Park. He tag teamed with John Mara to get the new stadium built. They've done some impressive things. But those are all things generated by, do you have enough capital to just make it work? Not, do you actually have a plan and finesse and strategy and understand, management of people, and who are good managers, who are good coaches, who are good teachers. Trying to find, I mean, even looking at Madden ratings, if you're an owner, is just insanely stupid. It's just insane.
You want me, as a guy that lived in that area, I'll tell you how I feel about the Jets. Again, when you have your most famous guy, he's Fireman Ed, and he bangs himself in the head all day outside of Joe Namath, and that's your most famous Jet. But it would be like the Mets playing at Yankee Stadium. That's what it would be like. And that's what I always felt like, Jason, was like the Mets playing at Yankee Stadium and trying to call it home. Yeah. It never felt that way to me, that they were kind of like the land of misfit toys, the Jets.
Yeah, they are. They have been for a long, long time. That's just what they are. I mean, they've had a couple of periods of time when they've been competent. And one year where it was magical. One year was magical with Namath, and then a couple of periods here and there when it was competent. When they had the sack exchange, or when they had Parcells, those are some glimpses. But basically, the last 25 years since Woody bought the team, aside from Rex's time, with that, where he built a great defense, not much.
Get this, you're a Hall of Fame voter, and I want to tell you something about Mark Gastineau. So Mark's been
I don't want to hear any more about Gastineau.
Wait. He's been calling me every freaking day. And I will say this to you, and I hope he's watching. So he's back to being Mark Gastineau, because there's been a little fame and notoriety and elevated. I mean, he's talking to me about his, family member. I'm not going to say who exactly, because she has reached out to me a few times, and I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to her. I'm not talking. Hey, listen, I'll never. He just got a new commercial, and I'm like, I know why Mark Gastineau's not in Hall of Fame, and here's why. It's not his ability. He can't handle fame. He just couldn't handle fame. He couldn't handle being an NFL player.
That's part of it. He rubbed people incredibly the wrong way.
And still,
he's TO before TO. He really is.
Does he get any credit with you for? Does he get any credit with you for inventing the sack dance?
I mean, well, am I gonna put Glenn Burke in the Hall of Fame for inventing the high five?
Or who is the guy from Houston who did the dance in the end zone?
Yeah, white shoes. Am I gonna
White
do
Shoes Johnson?
Is White Shoes Johnson gonna go in because he invented a dance? I mean, come on, like get serious. This is worse than the argument we're gonna have about Ralph Hay trying to get in the Hall of Fame when he only owned a team for 4 years. I mean, come on.
So dumb, man. By the way, I guarantee you, Woody Johnson gets into the Hall of Fame. There'll be a black ribbon committee somehow put together. hey, Jace. There'll be a black ribbon community people, whatever, put together here to get his ass in because I don't know, man. I think they undermine some of the things. Jace, should be a great weekend of football, though, dude. I can't wait to see how it takes out. Really, appreciate it, Jace.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you later. Be good.
You got it. Yep. That is our friend, Jason Cole. Make sure you check his workout on Yahoo Sports. Absolutely. The legendary Godfather. Let's see if we're getting hammered again over here by the Crossing Broad chick, Kincaid. He's been going off here saying that this is what you get when you listen to Angelo Cataldi. And by the way, when you listen to Angelo Cataldi and Howard Eskin, you get people like Sileo. Am I supposed to take that as an insult? How come I'm not looking at that as an insult? I have a Dawkins jersey that is midnight black and midnight green, split down the middle, left and right. Also, I met Prime Vic in his office. I met Prime Vic in his offense, in this offense. Atlanta Michael Vick in his prime in this offense. He needs a play caller. Okay? And not Dan Reeves. So how about this one, Mikey? Andy Reid, Michael Vick in his prime in this offense would probably be frightening. Okay? Would probably be frightening. Sills, the first time I heard of you was from a friend of mine who was from South Florida. Was it good or bad? Yeah. I reported this already, Samuel. Sills, if Calais Campbell is available, do you think we would be able to sign him? And should we? I think he'd be great. Samuel, he's only making $1.5 million. And I'm not sure he clears waivers. Now, remember something about waivers. That's if they cut him after Sunday. I believe they're playing the 49ers this weekend. Okay? I think he'd be a great depth piece. Okay? Add a guy like that for $1.5 million. Okay? Xander, let's get the two supers before we take a timeout, before we get legendary Philly Godfather. Xander's comment about Hurts throwing with confidence is so true. Certain plays when he drops back and fires it out with, and there's no question with pacing on it. Brady said that in the game on Sunday. You can just tell it's a completion before it leaves his hands. Get this. I don't know if he's a rhythm passer. Yeah, I don't know if he's a rhythm passer or if he's a streaky passer. Nick Foles was a streaky passer. Okay? He was a streaky passer too. Okay? I mean, again, my problem with Jalen is, can he put 4 games or 3 games in a row? Because here's what, as of right now, you're going to play Washington, most likely, either the Bucs or Green Bay in the second round. And then in the championship game, you're either probably going to play Minnesota or you're going to play Detroit. And then here's what I think you're going to do. I think it's going to go like this. Washington, Green Bay, wild card division, Detroit, and let's just say Kansas City. So for you to win the Super Bowl, Most likely this year, for you to win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat Washington, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Jared Goff and that Detroit team, and then Patrick Mahomes. So you're going to have to beat Washington, Green Bay, Detroit, Kansas City. Are you going to have enough balance week in and week out, where Hurts hasn't been balanced all year, to beat those 4 teams? I think that's going to be your gauntlet. Washington, Green Bay, Detroit, and Kansas City. Now, for me, if you have home field, I think that puts you in the driver's seat. Because to me, the good thing about the Eagles in this playoff race is you got 2 dome teams. Minnesota outside in January? I don't know. And to Chuck's point, injuries. Get this. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care what happened in week 1 in the playoffs. I don't, that's like stop talking about last year, senor. That feels like last year now. Who cares? Hey, by the way, to senor's point, you beat Tampa Bay early in the year last year, and they beat the fuck out of you in the playoffs. So it's a dumb comment by Senorita. There's a great example. You beat the brakes off of the Bucs early last year, and you got the shit kicked out of you in the playoffs. I think Seattle will beat the Vikings. Not without Geno. Not without Geno. I want the hardest team in the playoffs. I don't. This will show me if Jalen Hurts is the real deal. Otherwise, I'm not sold. Lord's grace. Don't do that. I want to make sure that this is Queensberry rules, and I want to play, without a doubt, the toughest schedule that I possibly can, so that it'll prove that I'm a champion of champ. No way. Give me the shittiest teams possible to make it to the Super Bowl, and give me the least resistance. Give me the best formula to go win Super Bowls. Forget about it. I don't want to do that. Why make your life harder when I can make it easier by playing a shitty team? I'm not looking to prove anything. I'm looking to win games here. Okay? I want to prove that Jalen's the guy. No, I don't want to prove anything like that. Okay? I don't want to. Hey, dude, watch this. This is going to sound so awful when I say this. This is going to sound awful. Dude, if Jordan Love gets hurt this weekend, good for the Eagles. Sills, you're wishing injury. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Hey, Jared Goff. Hey, Jared Goff gets hurt this weekend. Good for the Eagles. But you're wishing for no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay? No, I'm not. This stupid stuff with I want to make sure that I have, the toughest competition that I can prove to people. That's not what I'm looking for. Hey, man, if I'm Notre Dame, I want Indiana. Hey, who do you think Notre Dame wants to play in the opening round of the playoffs? Who do you think they want to play? Georgia? No, thank you. I want to play SMU. I want to play somebody like that. Give me Boise State. Hey, dude, I want to play Boise State. I don't want to play Clemson or any of those other teams that have been in those games. I don't want any of that. Okay? Okay? Path of least resistance. All due respect. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay? That's right. No disrespect. Okay, listen, never wish an injury on a player. I would never. Okay? I do criticize Hurts. No. Sills criticize Hurts for playing the Giants and Noodle Arm San Francisco. The Purdy's not Noodle Arm. His play sucked in those divisional games and wild card game. Yeah, they didn't need him. They didn't need him to do anything in those games. He was great in the Super Bowl. Those are facts. He was below average in both those games. The Giant game in Minnesota, the Giant game and what other game? The 49er game. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was very average. It's not a criticism. It's a fact. It's fact, jackass. It's facts. Yeah. Man, this fucking sports talk, you can't handle a fucking take and get the fuck out of here. That's my boy right there, baby. Hey, Purdy, James, when Purdy was healthy, he beat the shit out of the Eagles. Okay? They played against Josh Johnson and Christian McCaffrey at quarterback. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Sills' 9 wins. Lame. I know. Oh, my God. Hey, James, I thought you guys would win a division, man. But you're fighting for the playoffs. So I'm a little short up, but nobody picked them at the beginning of the year to be a playoff team. Come on, Washington. I'm not saying beat the Eagles because they're not. I don't think so, James. Okay? Yeah. I know, man. I know. Hey, by the way, James, we just have the propensity. So yesterday, we made Xander pissed off about the Pro Bowl. Now, Kevin Kincaid pissed at me or saying that I'm a product of Angelo Cataldi. Is that a bad thing? I can't wait to show Angelo this after. I'm a product of Howard Eskin. And Angelo Cataldi. That's what that dickhead wrote on my Twitter. He came after me. You get guys like Sileo. This is what his legacy is. Dan Sileo. Great. Yeah. The legendary Philly Godfather is right around the corner. Do me a favor, guys. Our great friends at JAKIB Sports have teamed up with our new friends at BetUS for you to check out the YouTube 150. That's right. Hey, we got a playoff game today between Indiana and Notre Dame. Playoff games on Saturday, and then also NFL on Saturday. And we have football, NFL football on Sunday. And we're all teamed up here with our friends at BetUS for the YouTube 150. Sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Second and third or 125% of your sign-up bonuses. And if you're into crypto, 200% of your sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Go to betus.com.pa. betus.com.pa. By the way, congratulations to Michael Vick, Norfolk State. Brand new head football coach, man. This is the home of Michael Vick, too. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Hit that like button. Let's go, guys. Here on a Football Friday, we appreciate it. Don't forget, check us out on the pregame show and the postgame show here on JAKIB on Sunday. We appreciate you guys. By the way, right now, currently, NFC draft places and positioning. Giants are in the 2 hole right now, and the Cowboys are in the 14 hole. Commanders are 23rd, and the Eagles are in the 30th spot. By the way, I didn't really get a good chance to show you guys because we have, of course, a bunch of naysayers when it comes to like our career in the past. And I love showing this shit. I just found these. My wife just gave me these too. So I don't know what Super Bowl this is. I'm not very good at Roman numerals. So that's a Super Bowl press credential. By the way, this is field access. How you doing? I went to this bad puppy. This is pretty cool. This might be San Francisco. The one in San Francisco, I think that was the Patriots. I forget. I think this was the Patriots. This is Super Bowl 50. Right there, Super Bowl 50. I didn't get the stadium access on this one because they ran out. But because I'm an NFL alumni guy, I got access to press box and all the essentials. So this is Super Bowl 50. This is pretty cool. 50th anniversary of the NFL. This one here is my Charger one, my press box with the Chargers. I should keep this one too because they're not in San Diego anymore. They're my San Diego one. Yeah. Let's see here. What else do I got? Oh, was this in Philly? Oh, yeah, this is in Philly. Army, Navy, Media Row, Big Sills. Is this Philly? Yeah, this is Philly. This was Pacquiao and Bradley at the MGM Grand. What else here? I got 1,000 of these. This is another. This is press box post game field and all locker room access. This is remember when people said Sileo would never get a NFL credential to go into the press and into the locker room? Well, that's what this is. The Chargers press box, and if you read down there at the bottom, locker room access. Had it with the Niners, had it with the Dolphins, had it with the Cowboys. I have total access. If I want to get a press credential to any team, probably not the Eagles right now because Bob Lang's an asshole. I could get one outside of him, but I could get an NFL credential not through him. And he couldn't do anything about it. Could he deny me going into the facility? He couldn't deny me going into Lincoln Financial because I would have a press credential. So he couldn't deny me. How are you doing? So I get around that asshole if I had to. And he couldn't deny me if the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. He couldn't deny me field access either or locker room access. He could not kick me out because I would be a credentialed NFL media man. How you doing? Don't worry. That guy ain't got dick on me. He may think he does, but he ain't. By the way, I call Eddie D on his ass. Come on, Bob. Let's go. Let's go arm wrestling. Hey, how you doing? All I got to do is call a guy by the name of McCarthy, who handles all NFL media credentials. He's my boy. He took over for Greg Aiello. And Greg Aiello and I are dear friends all the way back in the day. And Greg Aiello would call him up. He'd give me a press credential. He'd put me on media. Do that in a snap of the fingers. Would not take me shit. But I don't choose to do that. Okay? Because I don't really like doing. That means I would have to leave the Dan cave. Okay? I would have to leave the Dan cave. You're missing the point here with me. I don't go anywhere. Dude, Xander's got 2 fucking tickets still on his bulletin board. Hey, thanks, Sills. Yeah. He's got still 2 tickets. Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait a minute. Is this another one? Oh, it's Super Bowl 51. I already showed this one. Yeah. I think I've been to like 20 Super Bowls. I've been to 20 Super Bowls. Have I stayed? How many games have I stayed for? Let's see. I went to the one in New Orleans. We're at Super Bowl 50 in New Orleans. Forget where that Super Bowl was. Shit, I've been to a bunch of them. About 20. Yeah. Been about, I'd say about 15 to 20. Don't want to overcook it. Okay. Humble brag. I was doing my job. I was working for radio companies. Senorita, how you doing? Sills, for Super Bowl week in February, can we get a top 5 favorite bowls of your lifetime? Yeah, I'll do that for sure. I'll tell you this. Hey, Devontae, my favorite cities that I've been to for a Super Bowl. San Francisco, New Orleans, Miami, Tampa. I can't believe how many. I haven't realized how many Super Bowls I've been to. Shit, the worst one was Jacksonville. I hated that. I hate Jacksonville. So, I mean, it was terrible. My room was on a boat. I said, screw that. I'm driving home. And I drove back and forth. I lived in Orlando and I drove back and forth. I wouldn't stay on the boat. I was like, no. So the one that was in Orlando, the one that was in Jacksonville, I would not stay in those because they didn't have proper accommodations for all the people for the Super Bowl in Jacksonville. It was the shittiest Super Bowl that I've ever been to. That's the Eagle one, right? I was there for that. I was there for that game when Philly got beat in that Super Bowl, the 04 Super Bowl. Okay, Indianapolis was terrible. It's another shitty city. I know Pat McAfee, that's his neck of the woods, but that was not good. But dude, I love San Francisco because of the grub. The food was great. San Diego had great. I went to 2 Super Bowls in San Diego. The one the Washington won, but I went as a player. And then the one for the media when Green Bay played Denver, and I was working at KMBR in San Francisco. I went down for that. The draft this year will be in Lambeau. That's going to be dope. So, yeah, I bet you there's only one other guy that's got as many media credentials as I do. That's the Philly Godfather. Like I said, look at it. Dude, I love my Super Bowl credentials. We've actually had people in here go like this, Sills can't get them. There's another one. I've got I think 8 Super Bowl credentials here. I've been to 20 of those games. I've been to probably 6 All-Star baseball games. I went to the one in Seattle. That was pretty good. And I've been to 2 NBA All-Star games too. And I've been actually to an NHL All-Star game in Tampa when they had the All-Star game there. So really good stuff here, man. By the way, what a big weekend for the legendary Philly Godfather. We got playoffs today. We got football Saturday and Sunday. Okay, both NFL and college. Not college on Sunday, but tomorrow's going to be absolutely off the charts. That's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to get a little bit into that too as well. But what a great week. Last night, Chargers took care of business. They're now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're 9-5 or 9-6 right now. So both them and Denver are tied. That pretty much, what did the Godfather say last week to you guys? Hey, Sills, don't go to sleep on the Bengals. They need Denver to get beat. And sure enough, the Chargers took care of business. And now with the Bengals to win out, they could make the playoffs. This is what he said. That's got to be something pretty cool to bet on here. So let's bring in our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather. He joins us now. Dude, you're right on with that here, man. They have to win out. They may have a shot at making the playoffs here.
Yeah, I mean, if the Broncos lose out, which there's a great chance they play the Bengals next week, then they got to play the Chiefs. And everyone's talking about the Chiefs resting starters. Well, they got to take care of business against the Texans this week. And that's going to be a difficult task. That's not just a walkover over there. So, a lot of drama is building for the Bengals fans, for the Broncos fans. Colts are still in it. The Dolphins are still in it. It's shaping up to be a great stretch down the stretch here. Yeah.
All right, let's get into Eagles and the Commanders. I mean, how do you see this thing playing out here? Like, both teams need this game, obviously. One team's fighting for home field and potentially the NFC East this weekend. The other team is fighting for survival. I mean, they're at 9 wins right now, and they've got some guys out. It looks like Jeremy Chin, concussion protocol. They've got Noah Brown out. Zach Ertz is out. Jonathan Allen doesn't look like he's going to be activated, and Austin Eckler's out. So A.J. Brown's a little dinged up too, by the way, going into this game. How do you see this thing?
Yeah, well, I went back to the last game, and what's funny about that last game was the Commanders were up 10-6 going into the fourth quarter. And they had a couple, brain cramps in that fourth quarter. Dan Quinn decided to go for it on 4th down. Instead of kicking that field goal, they would have went up 13-12 in the fourth quarter. And then Jaden Daniels throws that pick, and the Eagles go down and score again. So that game was a lot closer than the final score indicated. It's a division game, second time around. Commanders have revenge. Like you said, the Eagles are trying to keep pace with the Lions.
And Minnesota.
They can't fall off. The early action offshore and in Vegas, I talked to my guys behind the counter. Scares me a little bit if you're an Eagles fan. All the action's on the Eagles. A ton of it. It's heavily tilted. And I never want to be on the public side. If the price was 2.5 or 3, I'd probably be all over the Eagles to win their 11th straight game. But it's over that key number. And this is a division game. It's a revenge game. Commanders still fighting for their playoff lives. I kind of like the Commanders here plus 3.5. I think the Eagles win the game, but I think the Commanders cover the spread.
Do you think that's low, or do you think that's high for a division game when you're favored by 3.5 and you're the Eagles over a team that You handled in the second half. You were right. In the first half, obviously, that game was close, I think, due to great coaching, some bad situational football by Philly in the first half. But do you think that 3.5, is that an indictment on Philly, or is that more? I mean, because that still seems awful close for a team that's won 10 in a row and 12-2 versus a team that's won 9 games. Or am I off there?
It's kind of tricky because the guys with the big money that back their opinions with millions of dollars, they're kind of making it seem really easy. Like the Eagles have won 10 in a row. Commanders have been struggling. Offensively, they've been struggling.
So it's like a trap.
It feels like that, But again, this Eagles team, I talked about it in week 6 when they were 4-2, how good this team was, that this team was a lot better than they were last year when the Eagles were 10-1. And they've won 10 in a row now. But it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. 3.5 seems too easy for me. But again, the way the Eagles have played so efficiently and they haven't been turning the ball over, and Saquon Barkley has been running down people's throats. But again, A.J. Brown, if he's dinged up, he's a major part of that offense, especially if they need him. Now, I know they've been running the ball a lot, but if they need to pass the ball and he's banged up, that could hurt them here.
How about let me throw a theory off at you? And again, this is a Big Sil theory, so it's half-brained when I say this to you here. Do you think the style of play, we brought this up earlier on the program. Do you think the style of play has taken its toll on these 2 wide receivers? Because, again, a lot of blocking this year, a lot of carries. The wide receivers have been banged up all season long. I mean, A.J. Brown's missed 3 games. Devontae's missed games. There's been injuries. There's been a lot more blocking at the volume of blocking than in the past. Again, do you think that's taking its toll a little bit physically on these guys?
Absolutely. I mean, you play football. I mean, I trust your opinion more than anyone's because you were actually on the football field and you see what happens with these athletes from a week-to-week basis, in different situations. So, yeah, absolutely. But, again, I'm glad that they took the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. He's not passing as much. He's not a turnover machine anymore. And, if these guys are getting less touches and they're a little bit more banged up, I mean, as long as the Eagles win the Super Bowl, who cares? That's the bottom line.
Who has a better game, Hurts or Daniels?
It's a good question. Both teams are pretty healthy. I know Daniels' passing yards are slightly higher than Hurts.
They are. I think he's actually played better than Jalen consistently all year. And how about this? He's been leaned on more. I mean, Washington is where they are because of him. Eagles are not where they are because of Hurts. They're because of Barkley.
Yeah, I mean,
that also Hurts.
Yeah, the defense. I mean, the whole nucleus of this Eagles team is
His
probably
defense.
Yeah, is one of the best in the NFL. I mean, let's be honest. And right now, they got the second best odds to win the Super Bowl, tied with the Lions. So that tells you a lot. The guys with the big money are saying, you know what? This Eagles team's coming on strong, and now they've become the second favorite to win the Super Bowl. So, you know what? Daniels is healthier now. I know he was a little banged up for 3-4 games. If I had to pick, I think Daniels at home would have a better game.
All right. How about this? Does Barkley, to win the MVP, does he have to get 2105? And what do you think his odds are right now to win it? Or do you think it's going to either land in Goff, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen, who's the favorite right now to win it? Is there any shot in hell Barkley can win this thing?
I don't think so. Not at this point. Josh Allen is just so far ahead. I think Allen's like a -4 or 500 favorite, and Barkley has become the third odds-on favorite after, getting close. He was second, and now he's dropped down behind Lamar Jackson. So it's Josh Allen's award. I think he gets it. I think he is the MVP of the league. And if the Chiefs falter this weekend, man, that Buffalo Bills team, if they get home field throughout the playoffs, they might end up in the Super Bowl.
You think this thing, Gail here, I'm going to take his comment here. Do you think it's a runaway right now for Allen to win the MVP?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's just my opinion. But if you look at the odds, the odds makers agree with me offshore and in Vegas. So, it's kind of like that.
Let's do the Saturday games. Then at the end, we'll do the college playoffs here. Later on, it's Indiana, Notre Dame at South Bend. Houston at Kansas City. 2 playoff teams right now. Obviously, Kansas City's in that one hole, wanting to stay ahead with games remaining here, a couple of limited games remaining here. They're 13-1 heading into this, and Houston has kind of wobbled this year a little bit, especially on the defensive side of the football. They've been injured a little more on that offensive side, but they're kind of rallying a little bit here and playing a little bit better football. How do you see this game at Arrowhead?
Well, if you're going to bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs, this is the week to bet on him. He's a little banged up. The Texans are finally starting to get healthy. Their defense is getting healthy. When healthy, the defense for Houston ranks third in opponent yards per play and second in opponent yards per pass attempt. So they're one of the better defensive teams in the NFL. Offensively, statistically, metrically, they both look very similar. Their numbers on the year. Honestly, whoever has the ball last in this one probably wins the game. And if you're giving me 3.5 points on a coin flip, I'll take the Texans every time. And I wouldn't be shocked if they win the game.
Wow. That's something at Arrowhead, too. How about another one here, man? This is going to be one of those games you're going to fight in a phone booth here because it's Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I mean, two really good football teams. Now, I'll say this to you about Baltimore. That's not the same Baltimore defensive team that I've seen in the last 10 years. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, depending on what the health of TJ Watt is probably the favorite, perennial favorite to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Had a tough one last week against the Eagles. They got blown out, in my opinion, against Philadelphia. They were kind of embarrassed. I don't know what George Pickens' availability in, but this game is always a tough one here, this AFC North matchup. How do you like this one in Baltimore?
Yeah, I like the Ravens here, -6. It's a revenge spot after losing a couple of weeks ago to Pittsburgh. What was it, 18-16?
Yep.
The Steelers were really fortunate in that last game that the Ravens had 3 turnovers over there on the road at Heinz Street. So this time around, I think it's going to be different. The Steelers' offense isn't the same without Pickens. Even if he does play, he's going to be really banged up. They really need a healthy version of him to have a chance to win this game. And I can't see the Steelers winning the game. We're covering the spread here. Steelers pass defense really banged up. I'm expecting Lamar Jackson to have a monster game. I went over 221.5 passing yards for him. I took Mark Andrews anytime touchdown plus 200. You're getting 2-1 on that. I think the Ravens win this game easily.
I'll tell you what, I traditionally don't give you the shitty games, but this has got some significance to it here Sunday because Atlanta's still alive, like you said, in the playoffs in the NFC. They're 7-7. But what they've done now is they've benched Cousins, and they're going with Michael Penix here, and they've got the very limited, if any, fight left, New York Giants. So they're going to be going down to Atlanta. I don't even know what the point spread is. It should be about 50 points in the point spread here. But then again, it's Michael Penix. So how do you see this thing here?
Well, you think it should be 50. It's kind of low. It's only 8.5. Falcons are 8.5 favorites.
8.5 is a ton.
I'm not betting the Giants here. They blow. Their pass defense is the most injured in the NFL heading into this Sunday in the week 16. Their offense is banged up. They're decimated everywhere, and they're not that good to begin with. So, like you said, the Falcons might win by 20 points. Penix, I think, is going to have a monster game. He's going to surprise a lot of people. I went over 225.5 passing yards for him. If you want to tie in if you're worried about the Giants, you can always tie in the Falcons in a 7-point teaser, tease them down to -1.5 with some other teams. I don't think you're going to have to do that. I think the Falcons kill this team, man. They're fighting for their playoff lives. The Giants are done. They're banged up. They're injured. They're decimated. I mean, it's a wrap. I think the Falcons destroy this team.
How about this one here? Obviously, Detroit, Minnesota, and the Eagles are all sitting at 12-2 right now. And you got Detroit with a divisional game and an old school Detroit-Chicago game. And Chicago played them pretty good on Thanksgiving. I mean, that was a pretty good football game. There were some shitty coaching decisions that ended up getting Matt Eberflus fired because of those decisions now. I mean, this is the Super Bowl, I think, for Chicago here. They've been up and down right now. This is going to be their last fight. They're not going anywhere. You got Detroit that still has to stay ahead because of the tiebreakers right now of both Minnesota. And you want to get to that final game of the year, right? Minnesota-Detroit for home field. You can't trip up here and lose something like this. Do they cover the spread here against Chicago?
I mean, the line's 6.5 and 48. I took the Bears last week. This Bears team, they're just dead to me, man. I put
them on the fingernails. It's the fingernails.
I put them on a do not bet list. They're so dysfunctional.
So wait a minute. Are they in the Dak room now where they're so now they've officially gone into the Dak closet for the legendary Philly Godfather, where there's no more money being bet on those guys ever again.
Not this season. And like you said, I'm not sold on, Khalid Williams. I gave him the benefit of the doubt early in the season, and I tried to like the kid on the field. Obviously, I don't know him. He's probably a great person. but he struggles inside the red zone. And that was the first thing I picked up in the preseason and early on in the season. And he's continued to struggle. And people are blaming the coaches and this and that and the play calling and the offensive line. But at the end of the day, they didn't pick you number one to be average or good. They picked you number one to be great, and you got to find a way to become great. And he hasn't done that this season. So, I'm not a big fan of the Bears right now. The Lions, on the other hand, they're banged up on defense. They're really injured.
Yeah.
This is a huge game for Detroit. Oh, they just have too many injuries. 7 points is a lot. Their defense, scares me a little bit. I didn't bet the game. So as of right now, it's a pass for me. I guess if I do anything, I'll give it out on Twitter, but I'm not looking to bet this matchup because of all the injuries on the Lions defensive pass.
There's my man. He is still a Joe Burrow fan, and he is pulling for Joe Burrow. That is the Philly Godfather. They've got Cleveland. They just benched Jameis Winston. I have no idea who they're starting in this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's in Cincinnati, too, by the way. Do you like the Bengals to take this game, too, and go 7-8 on the season?
Yeah, I bet them early at -6.5, but the line ballooned up to 9. So to bet them now, a lot of that value in that bet's gone because you're going through the key number of 7, and it's moved up 2.5 points. If you want to put them in a 7-point teaser, you can take them down below that key number of 3 down to 2 in a teaser combination, maybe time in with the Ravens +0.5 or the Falcons -0.5. You can even bet them with the Rams +4. I think it's a better way to bet it now that line's ballooned up to 9. But like we said, if the Bengals win outright, if the Broncos lose out, and with a little help from the Colts and the Dolphins, we could see Cool Joe in the playoffs, man.
Man, in the season he's had, I wouldn't want to run into that guy for a 60-minute ball game too, man. I'm telling you, anything can happen when you're in the playoffs, man. Your records don't really matter once you're in the playoffs because it's one and done in that thing here too. You mentioned this earlier. Indianapolis is still alive here for a playoff spot. And they got the shitty Tennessee Titans. Their coach went off this week telling everybody we're not soft. And I don't know, man. It was one of the most epic rants I've ever seen a head coach have by calling the media out, by going, that's full of shit. And so, I don't know, maybe they play harder. It's in Indianapolis. Shane Steichen's still alive. How do you see this thing?
I just hope they keep losing. Before the season started, I bet them to have the worst record in the NFL. I got 11-1 on the money, so I just need them to keep losing. I think the Giants is going to cost me that wager. But this game here, I think the Colts opened up -4.5. It's dropped down to 3.5. But the Titans are banged up on the defensive side in their pass defense. Colts, they still got an outside shot of making the playoffs, like you said earlier. Last time they played, what did the Colts win by a field goal? I think it was 20-17. But if this line gets down to 3 with the position the Colts are in, kind of like the Colts -3.
I just thought I had a flashback of me watching the movie The Natural when that guy goes and Roy Hobbs goes, you could bet against somebody. And I just heard you just go like this. I bet them to have the worst record in the NFL this year. You can bet against people. You can bet on anything. And that is my man, the Philly Godfather. How about this one? Rams and the pathetic New York Jets. Remember, the only thing that's good in New York about the Jets is Fireman Ed. The rest of it all sucks. You got the Rams that are still alive right now. By the way, they're sitting pretty good. They're getting healthier too, and they look pretty good. Matthew Stafford looks pretty good. You like them to go into the Meadowlands and win?
I didn't go to school much. I dropped out of school in 9th grade, but I remember my 7th grade science teacher, Mr. Elder, telling me that an object in motion stays in motion, right? Is that what it is? And I'm not getting in the way of this red-hot Rams team. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. They took over the number 1 spot in the NFC West. I think Matt Stafford goes off this week. I think he has a monster game. I bet over 242.5 passing yards, over 300 passing yards on the alternate line. You can get 3-1 on your money plus 320. I like the Rams here -3. I think there's going to be some points put up on this one. Probably bet the over 46 as well. I like the Rams, man. We talked about it before the season started. And we said the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFC were Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. And don't be surprised to see them in the playoffs. And right now, the Rams are coming on strong. They're healthy.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think the Rams would be tough in the playoffs. Arizona's really been We picked them to be a surprise team this year, but man, have they been helter-skelter up and down all year long. I mean, one week they kicked the shit out of the Rams. The next week they drop a stupid game. I mean, they go into Carolina. Carolina's been, whatever you want to say about Dave Canales, the coach there, they've played hard, you know. I mean, now look, you don't get merit badges for playing hard in the NFL. I mean, that's not how it works and how you keep your gig. But, I mean, Arizona's been a freaky – is this a frightening game to bet on here because of inconsistencies of Arizona?
I mean, they're fighting for their playoff lives still.
Yeah,
they are. We cashed that over 6.5 season win total that we gave out on your show, so that's good. Back in the Panthers, it kind of scares me a little bit, the way they played against the Cowboys. They gave them 30 points on defense. For me, it's hard to back them here as a home dog. The price is right in that dead zone at -5, 4.5, 5. So I'm not looking to bet the Panthers here. I kind of lean over in the game. I think there's going to be some points put up in this game. So if you want to bet the over, I think that's what gets you the money.
This is a sneaky good football game here, and it looks like Gino's going to play. You got Minnesota now, like you said, with keeping pace and trying to keep pace with the Eagles and also Detroit here. They want to get to that last game of the year to try to win home field advantage. Can you imagine this before we even say this? Can you imagine what could happen here in the NFC playoffs here if both these teams play out and win out and the last game of the year between Minnesota and Detroit is for home field? You're going to have a 15-2 team that is going to be the number 1 seed. You're going to have a 15-2 number 2 seed, and you're going to have a 14-3 5 seed. Wow. With the Minnesota or Detroit Lions that will be sitting in that 5 hole. What a tough path to get to the Super Bowl and to get to the NFC title game, and how this thing's going to play out. And this Seattle game may have a lot to do with that. How do you see this thing?
Give me the Seahawks +3 at home. I'll take them for a Philly pretzel. I like them here. I like the under 43 as well. The home dog's always live in bad weather games. They're expecting a bunch of winds to amp up in that one, some rain. I think the Seahawks win this game outright. Take them on the money line +140, 135. So I don't think that scenario you just brought up is going to happen.
Hey, man, how many touchdowns does Josh Allen have against the Patriots in Buffalo, up there in Orchard Park on Sunday here? I mean, New England is just in shambles right now. They, as good as they were as a franchise, they're as bad as we ever seen a franchise right now. They're probably going to be one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft coming up here. And Buffalo is just humming coming off that Detroit win. Detroit, God knows what the point spread is in this thing here.
I think it's 14.5.
Get out of here. Is it really that high?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because Buffalo's pass defense is really banged up.
I might take New England then for 14 points.
Yeah, but if, I'm going to sit back and wait. If the Texans beat the Chiefs, I think Buffalo's going to go out there and just roll on this team, man. It's going to be really cold. I think they're expecting like 18-degree weather. But the Patriots' pass defense, one of the worst in the NFL. I think they're ranked like 26th. They're not too good to begin with. If the winds pick up, you might look to bet the under, but right now they're saying 5 to 10 mile per hour winds, which isn't a problem in the NFL. But it's going to be 18 degrees in that game. But pay attention to that Chiefs game. If the Texans beat the Chiefs, the Bills might come out and just roll on this team.
I'm going to spare you Jacksonville and the Raiders. Okay, I'm going to spare you that thing here. Now, here's 2 teams that are still with a respirator on. And you know those heart defibrillators that you have to try to keep somebody alive? That's San Francisco and the Dolphins right now. One of these teams are going to get resuscitated. One of these teams are going to get put to sleep like a dying dog. You tell me here. San Francisco at Miami. It's in South Florida. What do you like here?
I think the 49ers have got a 1% chance of making the playoffs, and the Dolphins have like a 4% chance. The game's a pick 'em.
Wow.
I don't know. Flip a coin here.
Have the mighty fallen or not with San Francisco?
Yeah, but you know what? I think the 49ers are actually the better team here.
Yeah.
But both teams are all jacked up with injuries. It's hard investing on either team here. If I had to make a guess, I guess maybe San Fran, just because they have the much better point differential in the season. I think they're a better team. But they're both – anything can happen in this type of game, man. I really have no opinion here.
Tampa Bay at the shitty Cowboys. I mean, hey, you made this proclamation last year about Baker Mayfield.
They were so mad.
Hey, everyone is he has been. Would you not agree Baker Mayfield has been a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts the last 2 years?
Yeah, a lot better. I mean, his numbers show that. I mean, his TD to interception ratio showed that. Imagine Saquon Barkley on that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
Holy shit.
Imagine the Buccaneers offense didn't get banged up this year. This Buccaneers team beat the Lions, beat the Eagles, beat the Commanders. I think they beat the Birds by 17 points, the Commanders by 17 points. They beat the Lions. I think it was 24-20 before they got banged up with some injuries. This Buccaneers team is pretty good. And they're a sleeper, man.
Yeah.
And Baker has played lights out. And we talked about
right. Yeah, that's right. They've beaten both the Lions and the Eagles.
Yeah, I think they're the only team in the NFL to do that, right? I mean, who else beat both those teams? They're also the slightly healthier team going into this matchup. They got the better quarterback against the Cowboys. They got the better coaching staff. Cowboys have no shot of making the playoffs. I think they're right there with the 49ers at a 1% chance to make the playoffs. I think Tampa Bay puts a ton of points up here. I like Tampa Bay minus 3.5. Their team total, I think, is 26.5. I would go over 26.5 as well. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one.
Monday night game, Green Bay versus the Saints. It's at Lambeau, which should be about minus 4 degrees up there at Lambeau. Hey, I've never in my life, you fly into Appleton, Wisconsin, then you got to take like a snowplow to get over to Lambeau, man. By the way, the draft's there in April. There'll be still 18 inches of snow there. I mean, it is so freaking cold in Green Bay, and you got a dome team going up there. I mean, there's got to be 100-point spread in this thing, too. Green Bay takes care of business here, right?
Yeah, before we get to that, you got to talk to Troy Vincent. Why do they got the draft in Green Bay? They should bring it back to Philly. It was never as good as when it was in Philly.
Oh, so you like seeing Howie Roseman doing his little jig dance when he went out there doing that dance going out there on the stage. All right.
But no, in this game, I think the line's 14. I mean, you got a soft dome team going into that frigid, weather of Lambeau Field. They got nothing to play for. They're all banged up, the Saints. That's a lot of points, but I wouldn't bet against the Packers in that matchup.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the college games here, okay? By the way, you're right. The draft in Philadelphia was spectacular. It really was. That was one of the better. I thought the one in Cleveland was pretty decent too, man. I thought a lot of folks showed up for that thing here. How about this here today? Indiana, who would have thought? No team from the state of Florida or Alabama is in the 12-team tournament, and you got two teams. I get Notre Dame. But you got the Indiana Hoosiers, who haven't been good since 1967, that went to the Rose Bowl, playing in the playoff game versus Notre Dame in South Bend today. Indiana's been a good team, but if you look at their schedule, but then if you look at Notre Dame's schedule, Notre Dame has not played one team this year that was ranked outside of A&M. Okay, so you tell me, what do you see with this game today?
Their strength of schedule is pretty even on the season. Some of the sharper money is on Indiana. The line opened up 8, went down to 7, went down to 6.5 for like a New York second. It's gone back to 7. There was a little resistance at 6.5. But the bigger wagers, the sharper wagers are on Indiana plus 7.5. Indiana's played 2 bad quarters of football all season. I mean, the second and third quarter against Ohio State where they had a turnover and some brain cramps. Other than that, I mean, their average margin of victory was like, I don't know, it was a ton, over 20 points a game. So Notre Dame's beaten some good teams like Louisville. I think they beat Georgia Tech. That's gritty. They beat Navy, Army, and like you said, A&M. But it's a lot of points, 7.5. I kind of like Indiana here, plus 7.5. I think their defense is good enough to stay within the Vegas number. And you're giving me over a touchdown. I like Indiana here.
Saturday games. The James Franklin, the version of Kyle Shanahan, I can't win a big game. SMU, man, I'll tell you one thing about this SMU team. They're fast, and they can score a ton of points on them. Penn State's defense is really good. They got that defensive end kid that's outstanding. They're good in running the football, but, boy, I'll tell you, man, SMU at Happy Valley, That's going to be an interesting ball game. Or do you think Penn State big here?
I mean, SMU's played some pretty good football, right? They got some nice wins over Louisville and Pittsburgh. But when they stepped up against Clemson, I mean, they gave
a
points.
roll.
Yeah, and I think the Mustangs, I think they're in over their heads here. I mean, Penn State's a complete team. Offense, defense, they rank in the top 8 in both departments. They got the 5th best odds to win the national championship behind Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State. I think Penn State's too good for them. Even at -8 where it's at right now, I think Penn State wins this game by double digits. I just think they're too good. And I'm not a big James Franklin fan. And like you said, every time they step up against a better competition, they lose. But usually they're playing Ohio State, Michigan, and this year Oregon. SMU ain't in that sphere. So I like Penn State here.
Dabo Swinney's an interesting guy with his team. He's been a fan of the program. He's been on numerous times. And I'll tell you something about Steve Sarkisian. It just seems to me sometimes that franchise and that program plays down in big games. They've won some big games with Sark. It's in Austin. How do you like this game, Clemson going in and playing against Texas?
I mean, it's 12 points. It opened up 10, so there's some sharp money that laid 10 on Texas. It's moved to 12. I mean, if it got to 14, I'd probably look to take Clemson. But, you know, Clemson looked good against SMU, but Texas is a different kind of animal. I mean, you know, their pass defense, the best in the nation, arguably. If Clemson can't establish the run and can't run the ball here, they could be in serious trouble because they're not going to be able to pass the ball. When you look at Clemson's metrics defensively, they rank outside the top 40 in opponent yards per play, outside the top 70 in opponent yards per pass attempt and per rush attempt. I think they rank on offense. They're okay. They rank like 40 or 41st in the nation in yards per play. But they're going up, like I said, against a different kind of animal. Texas is favored to win the whole thing at plus 360 or plus 350, depending on where you shop. I'm cheering for Dabo Swinney, but I think Texas covers the spread, man.
This is the one that I think could be the interesting ball game. Ryan Day coming off that tough loss to Michigan. Michigan was very mediocre this year. They were good on defense, but Tennessee is fast. They're good. They got athletes. That kid Pierce can rush the passer.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you. I mean, if I'm Ohio State, you're lucky you're at home in Columbus, and you got to have a bounce back game. What I wouldn't want to be is Ryan Day losing to Michigan and then getting bounced in the opening round of the Vols here. I'd want to win this ball game here because, again, I don't care what your record is. You can't lose to Michigan and then turn around and lose to the first playoff game when people are looking for you to maybe make the Final Four here when it comes to the college championship here. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, especially since they spent $20 million on this football team.
No shit. That offense it's the highest paid offense in college football right now.
Yeah. I mean, the line in Vegas offshore, it's been bouncing back and forth from 7.5 to 7, depending on where, what sports book you're using. But surprisingly, all the early actions on Tennessee, over 70% of the money. The public's betting Tennessee. I guess they gave up on Ohio State, but I know they lost to Michigan, but Michigan's got one of the best defenses in college football.
I do.
They don't have a defense like that, Dan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
I think Ohio State's a little undervalued coming into this, into the playoffs. I don't think the Volunteers' offense can put up enough points to cover the Vegas number here. Ohio State's defense is still stout. Other than their loss to Oregon, they're giving up an average of 9.9 points per game. This Ohio State's defense is pretty good. I like Ohio State -7. I mean, it sounds kind of square, but then again, when you look at the bet splits, the public's betting Tennessee, so maybe I'm on the right side here with Ohio State -7.
Awesome stuff, man. And all the bets and all the games that he didn't, you can check his Twitter out. He'll give you the skinny on it here. Who do you like to win the national title, though? I mean, I got Georgia winning it.
That backup ain't bad.
Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. The quarterback, Beck's not playing. Is Georgia still the favorite to win it?
They're they got the second best odds.
So they got Texas?
No, I'm sorry. They got the third best odds. I think it's Texas and Oregon, and then Georgia and Ohio State, and then Penn State and Notre Dame.
Oregon's going to win it, aren't they?
They could. They look like the most complete team. They've played the most consistent football all season. Dylan Gabriel, he's pretty good. So, but again, it's Georgia. And when Beck left the game, I was watching the game. I didn't know he got injured. I went to get something that came back. I didn't even know the backup was in there for
that backup kid is one of the highest recruited kids in Georgia football history. He is a high school. He was like one of the top 3 recruits in the United States and one of the best prospects at quarterback. So this guy broke every record there is. I mean, he came in, he looked great.
Yeah, that kid can play. And Georgia's got the easiest path. They got to beat Penn State. And other than that, I think they end up in the national championship where, the other bracket's loaded. So I think Georgia's going to get there. The other side's, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State's a little undervalued. It's probably going to be Oregon and Georgia at the end. And you know what? Georgia might beat them with that kid, man. I took him at 10-1 to be the MVP. I put a little bit of money on it of the college football national championship. So I think Georgia might win it all.
How about this? If Georgia does, they would have lost 3 games in 4 years with 3 national titles. I mean, Kirby Smart has taken over for what Nick Saban was in Alabama. If they close the deal and win, like a couple of years back when they yanked Hurts out and put Tua in, and they put another quarterback in here at Georgia, and they win the national title, that's going to be one of the greatest runs. Remember something last year? I think they got jobbed out of the Final Four because, they lost to Alabama by 3 in the SEC title game, and then they destroyed Florida State in the bowl game, or I think it was Florida State. They destroyed in the bowl game. I don't know, man. This has been a pretty impressive run by Kirby Smart.
Well, the 2 best coaches in the playoffs, Kirby Smart and the guy from Oregon, I think, in my opinion. They got to be the 2 best coaches. Do you agree, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably going to be those 2 teams. I'm hoping it's Ohio State. I got futures on them, but I think that ticket's dead. But again, watch out for Georgia. They got the easier path. And like you said, Oregon with Gabriel, they're probably going to get there.
Make sure you check them out during the weekend. And don't forget today, too, we'll be posting during the championships playoffs here with Notre Dame and Indiana. Then on Saturday, NFL and college ball. And then Sunday, NFL, Monday Night Football. Make sure you check them out, our good friend, the Philly Godfather. We will catch you next week, my friend.
Good luck, guys. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas.
You got it. That is our friend, Philly Godfather. Like you said, too, man. Check his website out. Guys, I appreciate the week. You guys have been absolutely sensational. Please hit that like button. I got 28-14 Birds on Sunday versus the Commanders. Don't forget to check me out on the pregame and postgame on Sunday as well. Thank you guys very much. Big Joe, thank you. Big Z, thank you very much. 2 to 6 on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the flip side.